We are live. Welcome to Dark Roasted Nerdiness episode 6. End of anime in Texas? Say it ain't so. I am always your host, Wolf, joined with my co-host, Shark. And tonight we have our guest host joining in, 8 Ball and Walrus. Say hello, gentlemen. We are live.
Hello.
So we have a couple of topics to go over this evening that we've kind of compiled together. The first one we're going to hit tonight is killing animation by going live action. With all of the movies that have come out in the last couple of years turning beloved animation properties, tonight we're going to center just solely on Disney because they kind of started this trend and have the most out there. So basically, a lot of the animated movies have decided to go live action. Some have done good, some have been bad, some have been epically, tragically horrible. Some have literally decided to take a steaming pile on the animated movies they were based off of, pissing off people to where Disney stock's at an all-time low. And it's up in question if they're going to continue doing it. Now, with some of the bigger ones coming out down the pipe, like Lilo and Stitch, Moana, heck, there's so many to list that they're talking about doing. Honestly, I think Lilo and Stitch is literally going to make a freaking killing. It's Lilo and Stitch. I mean, if you've already seen what Stitch looks like, for all the crap CGI they've done over the last couple of years, at least they got Lilo right. Even the How to Make a Dragon Toothless looks like Toothless.
Yeah, the animation is always good.
Yeah, the CGI part of it, the CGI aspect so far looks like it's gonna be at least entertaining. How much they change in the stories, how much they deviate from the originals are kind of trying to go off to, that I think is gonna kind of make or break a lot of these that are coming out. Now,
I think they learned from Sonic as far as looks and making sure that it's appealing, because y'all remember what that original Sonic looked like.
That was freaking terrifying. It literally,
and they were bullied into submission.
Yeah, I know what I want to say about how he looked like, but we haven't hit the 10-minute mark yet. So, you know, he looked like a certain condition of people that kind of looked like they were related to somebody named Corky from a show from back in the day. I'll leave it at that.
Lilo and Stitch, because I think they're going to be bringing back the DreamWorks animation styles, and that's going to always be good. You bring that company in, it's going to look good. Storyline, no, that remains to be seen, but DreamWorks, it actually looks good.
I will. Yeah, you are right there. DreamWorks, there's very few things they've ever done that the story may have sucked, the script may have sucked, voice acting may have sucked, but the animation was, you can never argue, they are perfectionists at what they do. It's Pixar lately that's been, it seems like they just like, oh, we're going to write on our name. We don't need to make it as crisp and clean as we normally do. People won't notice. Yeah, they noticed. Your sales kind of show they noticed. I mean, you know a good sign of a great animation or great CGI movie is literally going to be, is the merch selling?
Yeah.
And their stuff, what is there, like 5 stores in Florida just full of their shit that ain't moving?
Well, I mean, when they were able to make Donkey from Shrek, at that point in time, look like a donkey, and you're like, oh, wait, I can see like all the different hair fibers, all these other things. And it's like, hey, this is impressive. When they're able to make that innovative leap, it's huge.
Well, I mean, we see what Stitch looks like. I'll be interested to start seeing like some of the other characters that were kind of big.
Oh like no, they showed they showed an image of some of them. The one-eyed guy, I can't remember what his name was, but he looks terrible.
Bleakley?
Yeah.
What's the one-eyed dude? Yeah. He kind
Yeah,
of
Yeah.
drove off.
they have a CGI image of him, and I'm just like, you could have done practical effects for him.
Yeah. Well, the thing about
Like
it
you
is
could,
with CGI, anybody that thinks, oh, they just can't do it like they used to, or there's so many
no,
theories
I
of why
mean,
it's not good, have never looked at, like, if you want to see CGI at its utmost pinnacle of what it can do nowadays, go check out the latest Planet of the Apes movie, Kingdom of the Apes.
I think no, I think what you
The
have,
scene where the orangutan falls in the water is
I
walked
think
so
what you,
many different levels of CGI that is literally, even the corridor crew guys broke it down of how impossible those shots were, and you can't tell they're not real.
I think what you have to do is the compare and contrast. You have to show them where CGI came from to show them where it is now. Go back and have people look at some of those old shows that came out that were using CGI for like their space travels and stuff like that. I'm the one that keeps coming to my head off the top because I love the show, but every time I go back and watch it, I'm like, God, this was terrible. And I realized it was made in like the late '90s. Space Above and Beyond. All of the space scenes, all of the scenes are CGI.
Yeah.
All of them, like all of the space scenes are CGI, and it's like you're looking. Oh, Firefly. Go look at
Yeah.
episodes of Firefly when they show the ship in space and stuff. It's just one of those things where when you're looking at it, you're like, this is really bad, and people don't understand. No,
Yeah.
that was the cream of the crop for right then and there in that time frame, and then you got to look at where it's moved, where it's evolved to. But I do feel like with the live action stuff, I feel like I'm in a time compressor because they're talking about remaking Moana as a live action, and I'm like, why would you even talk about making it as a live action? It just came out, and I know it's been about what
It's
8 years since.
It's a cash grab.
Well, even with that, it just came out like 8 years ago. Moana itself is still making money.
Yeah.
Yeah, Moana 2 just hit screens not even a full year ago.
Right. So like why would you even think about doing the live action? Meanwhile, Lilo and Stitch had the sequels and they already had the series. So I can understand bringing that back and doing it. What I would really like to see them do is I'd love to see them go deeper into the collective. I want to see the live action Robin Hood.
Animal?
Animal.
With the way they've been doing animals, I'd be a little scared on that
I
one.
got a better live action for you. The Black Cauldron.
Yes.
Fantasy is easy to turn into live action.
Well, I mean, technically, in its form, it was already live action.
Yeah, but I'm saying if we're gonna go down that road, it
Fair.
would be a
You know
good
what? Fair enough.
Sword in the Stone.
Yeah,
So-
Sword in the
so-
Stone would be another one. So real quick, I've got one for you.
I mean, technically, Guy Ritchie already did it.
True. Do you know what is actually the first movie to utilize CGI for spatial environments, physics, and full landscape layouts?
I was just about to say the exact same thing.
Star Trek?
The
No.
Last Starfighter.
Do you know
Oh.
what? I thought that they had done the same thing Star Wars had done, which was use the
Nope, it was all computer-
small
it
model
was-
and everything else.
It was all
I did not know that.
generated, the whole damn thing. Everything
But
behind
that I
them
did-
when they're in the cockpit, all computer generated.
See,
First
I didn't
movie
know that.
ever to use CGI, though? Want to take a guess at that? Any sport of CGI ever? Period. The end.
Was it
Alfred
the,
Hitchcock's Vertigo
Yep.
in '58.
Did that come out before? Oh, I was like, did that come out before Doctor Strangelove?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and then the next one they credit with CGI, like film use of CGI, is Westworld from '73.
Yep. The overlaying of the robotic face over the dummies.
Yep.
That was the first time they did what was actually called rotoscoping.
Mhm.
And it was all of this using computers was actually taken from a movie done in 1921 called Metropolis.
Yeah.
Like, go watch
Okay.
the movie. You've never seen it. There are scenes in that you're like, how the hell did they do this? And the crazy part is they used overmapping film, overlapping mirrors. They use basically what illusionists use. And then they use literally building sets literally a mile back from each other using forced perspectives. Yeah, it's an insane film like, I watched it and I didn't realize how old it was. I knew it was black and white. I knew it's going to be old, but I didn't know it was that old. And yeah, I had to watch it twice because I'm just like, fuck me, they physically did all that.
I do like watching like some old classic films. Actually, I'm just gonna say old films because some
190 show you left out that it was the pioneer of CGI used for space to ship. That goddamn it, ship to ship combat. Babylon 5.
Babylon 5,
and
yeah.
90% of all of it was done by one man who lived here in San Antonio, Texas. Out of his house. He lived literally on South Presa going into downtown.
I'm going to say something controversial. I watched Babylon 5, but I didn't like it.
It's one of those it takes into the second season to get going. The
It's
first season is a slow burn.
I didn't know it existed.
Most people don't.
You know what? I keep forget. There are times when I actually actively forget how old I am sometimes.
Well, in Walrus's defense, you got to remember, Babylon 5 was overshadowed by shows that followed it, like Andromeda, Farscape. Crap, what's the other one I'm thinking about? What's the other one that came out there same way? You had Farscape, Andromeda.
Lex.
Not Lex. I'm thinking the main
Stargate.
Ones.
You had the original Stargate series that was out.
Crap, it was done by the same team that did Farscape, the one I'm thinking of.
Was it the three women in the future?
It might have been.
Cleopatra?
Yeah.
Cleopatra 2520?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, case in point, one of my favorite sci-fis that got no attention at all, and if you've never watched it, it's worth a watch, is Vagrant Queen.
Yes, that was actually really good.
I've gotten through season. And Killjoys.
I've gotten through
Killjoys was a good show.
Sliders.
Sliders was good until season 4. Season 4, once the main actor that played Maximus died, I quit watching it.
Yeah. Oh wow! Here's one. I just had to pull it up. Here's one that we are all forgetting. Sequest.
Sequest.
Nobody had a lot of CGI.
Yeah. Look, I'm definitely gonna say the controversial thing. Ain't nobody missed shit with Sequest.
Come on, you didn't like the talking dolphin?
You were gonna say something about Vagrant Queen and Killjoys.
Oh, I got through. No, I liked Killjoys. I liked Vagrant Queen. There was something that Kels came out with when Killjoys came out, and it was almost the same way. It was a bunch of people woke up. It was 5 people woke up with no memory.
Dark Matter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, those were the 2 that came out at the same time, and I was like, which one do I like more? And so I was watching Dark Matter because I wanted to keep up with it. I liked watching Killjoys, and then when Vagrant Queen came out, I only made 3 episodes. I'm trying to go back and watch it.
Oh, yeah. Another one we didn't list was Earth Final Conflict because that was a Roddenberry one.
Oh, I got another one for you. Terra Nova.
Oh,
Terra Nova was really good.
Terra Nova was Avatar before Avatar.
Yes.
The guy's even playing the same role.
Yeah. Yeah.
That made me so mad when they canceled that show.
Oh, there was another one.
To get back on subject, we're deviating way from the live action animation already. All right.
Well, I mean, we're covering the CGI factor of it. So, So as far as it goes, I'm kind of excited to see How to Train Your Dragon, but I'm running into a problem that I know people probably don't think of because they don't think of these things. So these kids were like 13, 14. I'm gonna be very generous with it and say they were 16 years old, right? So you have 2 16-year-olds falling in love, right? And she's supposed to be the pretty girl. She's basically supposed to be your typical pretty girl, but barbarian style, right?
Yeah.
You have to translate that into real life. So you basically have to over sexualize a teenager. And the only way to do that is to up age them. And by up aging them, you pretty much eliminate.
Not really if you keep
I
it in
don't
the
think so.
context that this is a feudal society, Vikings,
But
in
in
an
a
era where
but
people
what
were lucky if they lived to 50.
but look, what I'm saying is you have to up age it in order to keep it right for people watching the movie now. But also, because if you're talking about those feudal ages and stuff like that, 18 years old in that you're a man. Like there's no there you were a man like at 14 because they'd already started training you since you were 10 and everything else, and you've been growing and everything else and stuff like that. We're not going to get it. I'm not trying to get into the age specifics of the age specifics. What I'm saying is for what you're doing, for setting the tone for the time period, you can't have Hiccup acting the way he's acting being 18 years old.
I don't think you have to over sexualize it though, because the story's about the dragons. There is a love
Yeah.
story in it, but the story's
And,
not
and,
about
and in truth,
them.
their
It's
love
about the
story
dragon.
doesn't actually blossom to that level till the second film, which is a few
Exactly.
years after the first film.
You know what? Fair.
Yeah. So let's
And he was-
get back.
Hiccup was
All
15
right.
in
Let's
that.
get out of the age debate stuff. That's for another show and
Just-
another
I'm
topic.
just-
That's for another time.
Being ageist.
All
Okay.
right, yeah. So here we go. This is basically, I just took the time. These are going to be only Disney films. They are only going to be the major movies of the franchises that they had. So all of their major IPs. I'm basically broke down a list of each movie and what they made in their original box office revenue worldwide. Then kind of the second column is going to be the inflation rate, showing what that dollar then is now. And then we'll actually have next to it the live action remake total box office. I did not in any way take the totals of the OG versus live action when it comes to total gross made. Because a lot of these had, especially the originals, had so many re-releases in theaters. We're just going by OG original box office. And some of these are pretty crazy. So, for Snow White, which is the newest of them, the original box office in 1937 generated over $66 million worldwide. In 1937, it did that. To today's inflation, that is almost $1.5 billion. As of yesterday, the live action worldwide is 50 million. It hasn't even beaten the 1937 total of its original counterpart.
Gee, I wonder what happens when you do a media blitz with your star and she just sits there bashing on everyone.
Oh, have you even watched it yet? I did, finally.
The movie? No, I'm gonna
yeah.
actually see it. I'm gonna see it this weekend.
There is so much gutted of importance from the original. So much character development of one of the dwarves that is totally non-existent. And literally by the summary of the movie, it is, I did it all on my own because I deserved it and I'm important and fuck everybody else you saw in the film. Yeah. It is literally, we brought in a narcissist to give her a platform to show a film of her being a narcissist.
I mean, you could easily say the same thing about Tom Cruise in anything he's ever been in.
Yeah, okay. No.
None of his stuff's being taken from a property that had an establishment.
No, I gotta do it. I was gonna bite my tongue and I wasn't gonna do
your 10-minute
any
mark's
of this.
over. Go for it.
Oh, we're over the time.
Dude, we're
Yes,
past
we're
our time.
over
We're 20 minutes already.
Oh,
You went on
ladies
for
and
10
gentlemen.
minutes on age stuff.
Ladies and gentlemen, the views that are about to be expressed do not reflect on anybody else but me. I am this horrible person that you're about to witness. Witness me. Okay.
Hold on real quick.
Warning, some viewers may find the following footage deeply disturbing.
Okay. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of them sitting there going, well, Tom Cruise did it. It is blah, 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 blah. First of all, I'm tired of them taking the narrative of the hero and acting like the hero is the main focus and everything else and stuff like that. If you watch Tom Cruise in any of the movies that he did, is it a narcissistic little love just fest for himself, feeling on himself? Yes, it is. But his team is always featured in it. Mission Impossible. Ethan Hunt is the star. Ethan Hunt is the main is a main focal point on it. Does nothing without his team. James Bond. James Bond is the worst fucking spy in the world. Can't really do anything, but his team backs him up and is the reason why he can get shit done. Q, you
Which
got
is
the
why
CIA.
the newer ones didn't do so good because they took out all the gadgets.
They took out the gadgets, but they still didn't eliminate the fact that he needed his team. He needed MI6. He needed everybody else to help him do his fucking job. And they keep eliminating this when they make these fucking women movies where they're like the woman's going to be the main character, and they just basically take all of the clips. Maverick is I was in the Navy. There is no way Pete Mitchell would still be in the Navy as a captain. There's no way. I don't care what medals he won. He could have won the Medal of Honor. They'd have medically discharged this dude. There's no way he's even passing to stay a pilot by this age. Skip all of that. Because they're about to make another Top Gun movie and stuff like that. You then go to Snow White. We had the semi-independent Snow White with the Huntsman and all the other, with the Snow White movie that came out around what's his name? The dude who played Thor.
Helmsworth. You're talking the one with Kristen Stewart and Helmsworth and Charlize Theron.
Right.
Yeah.
So you had that
by
one.
the way, made closer to the
Way more
inflation total of the 37 than the new one did.
I'm not even getting that.
It
But
wasn't
you want to
a
tell
Disney production, it was Paramount.
That's true. But what I'm getting at is this. She's sitting there talking about, oh, we're gonna retell the Snow White story, and we're gonna make her more self-sufficient, and we're gonna go ahead and eliminate the love story, and it's not about her waiting for a man to come rescue her. First of all, if you watch the original Snow White, she wasn't sitting around waiting for a man to come rescue her. She was literally just a girl whose mother wanted to kill her, to cut her fucking heart out, and she got away. And she was living the life in the woods, and if the evil queen hadn't gone after her again, none of the bad stuff would have happened to the evil queen. That's what that story is. The prince is like a background thing that comes in to wake her up after she gets poisoned. It's not even the most important part of the story. Skip all that. You want to tell a story about an independent woman that did it on her own and everything else. It doesn't exist. It does not fucking exist. And it doesn't exist because nobody does it on their own. Snow White trying to do shit on her own, dead in 15 minutes. That's why she ends up eating an apple that an old lady brought her. Like, who trusts that? Wild apples? Eat this apple, my dear. Why is it shiny? We don't live in an age where disinfectant exists.
And are we going to jump over and talk about how Snow White actually died and Prince Charming?
No, we need that. We would need a whole fucking segment to break down. We need all of you guys to see the new one before we go and jump into that. Because trust me, I haven't even told you the tip of the iceberg of the problems with the new one. Shark and I have talked about it on the site, and even he was like, he couldn't believe that half of what I told him they really did. So
I don't want to spoil the movie for people who may want to watch it and might actually have a chance to enjoy it, because I always say watch it from your own lens. Don't really watch it from our lenses and shit like that.
Yeah, and I'm not saying in any way what I'm saying would ruin it. There are aspects of it that are actually pretty decent. Her voice, she could fucking sing. Zegler can fucking sing. Hands down, no doubt. The girl's got a voice.
We knew that from West Side Story.
Well, she should be on Broadway, not Hollywood. Plain and simple. She's a theater kid. Stay in the theater. It's where your attitude belongs, is the theater.
Honestly, she really shouldn't even be on Broadway. Every medium that she's been in has grossed less money because she's in it.
Yeah. So let's get back on point.
Okay.
Peter Pan, the original, little over 40 million in the original box office. And it was released in 1951. Gross inflation, almost $500 million. The live action didn't even clear 50.
Well,
Yeah.
you had better adaptations that were done
Well,
live. Hook
Hold
is a
on.
better.
These get better. Pinocchio. $38 million and was considered a failure at its time of release because it barely broke what it cost to make it. Inflation, $800 million. The remake with Tom Hanks, $33,000.
A live action Pinocchio.
Was that global?
Global, $33,000.
A live action Pinocchio was always set up to be nightmare fuel anyway.
Yeah, but with Tom Hanks, a Tom
Yes.
Hanks movie couldn't even pay what they probably paid for his catering bill during filming.
Holy.
Now, here's the crazy one. Dumbo. Loved. Every kid grew up seeing it. Disney put it on their every platform they ever had. You can watch it. Only did a little over $1 million, which would be 28 to today's standard. The live action actually did 114 million worldwide.
Hey, because
You know
I
why,
done
though?
seen about because they took the crows out, and I done seen about
No.
everything. When I
Tim
see an
Burton
elephant
It
did
was
fly,
Tim Burton.
It was Tim Burton.
Tim Burton, and the CGI on it was flawless.
Tim Burton.
I
Anything
haven't
Tim
seen it yet.
Alice in Wonderland, Tim Burton. Dumbo,
They
Tim
should-
Burton.
they should have left Jim Crow in there though.
Now, here's the one that's
That was
not a
his name.
shocker. Here's the one that's not a shocker. Lion King. 770
Mm.
million when it came out. Inflation puts it at 1.6 billion. The live action matched it, 1.6 billion. Because it's a beloved
Fair.
film. It's a beloved film. I was shocked that did 1.6 because I made it through about 10 minutes of the live action and was like, this is so fucking Uncanny Valley disturbing. Animated animals do not work when you make them look ultra realistic animals.
Well, you got to remember when it came out too, a lot of people were screaming at that time, "Is this necessary?"
Yeah, but I forgot that there were several areas of the world that had never gotten to see the animated Lion King in the movies. They had only seen it on VHS or burn copies. This was the first time they got to see that movie in a theater.
Or all they'd done is heard the songs and they fell in love with the songs and the theatrics that came in with.
But once again, why did that do good? I've no.
Yep. 101 Dalmatians, 14 million at its original box office release. Inflation puts it at 149. The live action got close, 136. Now, here's the one that does not shock me. Alice in Wonderland, again, Tim Burton. 2.4 million at its original box office, 29 with inflation. The live action, $1 billion worldwide. And the sequel I didn't include in the list because there was never a sequel to the animated. There was never an animated. It's just a continuation of the Alice storyline live action. Matched it with over $1 billion.
Well, seeing if you go with that with 101 Dalmatians, if you throw in the secondary of Cruella.
Yeah, but I wouldn't include that because Cruella never had an animated film. She was already the
standalone movie.
Yeah, it's a standalone prequel. So Jungle Book, 73 million, 700 for inflation. This is another one. The live action beat it, 966.
The fact that it came out around the same time as Life of Pi also helped it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, this is one did not shock me. Beauty and the Beast, 248 million in the original box office, comes out to about $500 million now. Live action kicked its ass, 1.2 billion.
And that's honestly, I feel like it's Emma Watson.
It's Emma Watson.
I was about to say the same thing.
Yeah, it was Emma Watson, and it was also the fact that it stayed true to its core source material 100%. It literally replicated animated scenes 1-to-1 to live action. The CGI was flawless. The casting was fucking flawless, and all the people from Josh Gatz to crap, who's the one that played Gaston?
Luke Evans.
Luke Evans.
Yeah.
It was perfect casting. I mean, they other than her, the side actors were some pretty good, heavy hitters on their own. All the way
But
down
even with
to
it,
who
it's like,
played her
gee, I
father.
wonder why this movie did so well when it paid respect to the medium that it came from.
Exactly. And the next one is shining proof of that again. Aladdin, 346 million, 788 growth, inflation. The live action broke $1 billion.
Now, how much of that do you put on Guy
without-
Ritchie, though?
Part of it's Guy Ritchie, but you got to remember, Aladdin was a gamble because you didn't have Robin Williams, who's already dead.
That is true.
So they
And that's-
used Will Smith, which literally was a hell of a gamble at the time. Hold on real quick.
It paid off.
Hey,
though,
Unknown
because
Editing.
it did well.
We got a chat coming in. What's up, Unknown Editing? Good evening to you too. Thank you for joining in. But yeah, Aladdin was a gamble by casting, but it worked out in their favor.
And that's because they, instead of trying to be Robin Williams, they let Will Smith be Will Smith.
Yeah. And
As the genie, yes.
And they did actually add in some music that was never in the original that actually was pretty decent and sounded like it could have been in the original without any interruption.
But the main thing was, outside of all of it, they paid respect to the original medium,
Exactly.
and they didn't try to shoehorn a different story in there.
Yep.
They did it a little bit with the princess, with trying to force her hand a little, I felt. But
Well,
it came out good overall, but it was a little forced.
because it's at the start of them trying to drive that narrative.
True.
Look at them doing it all on their own.
Yeah. Entity, we are actually going to get into the Texas bill in a little bit. So, yeah, definitely hang on and join us. We are going to go over our thoughts on it and the after effects and the things that it could proceed, considering the typical governmental loose lips on how they word crap. Got to figure everybody's in a hurry to rush a bill out with their name on it, not thinking, hey, we've left the dam open with only, a toothpick keeping it shut.
What happened to us as the people being able to vote on those?
I have no clue, dude. There's so much in government in just my time that I've been alive that I can't figure out
Like-
what the fuck happened or
Like,
changed.
I remember when they used to be like, hey, there's a proposition or there's a bill coming out or this, that, and the other, and they would have to get voters' actual input on it before they could even bring it up and stuff like that. And you got the whole vote yes on prop such and such or vote no on prop 3. You know what I
don't
mean?
know, man. There's been a ton of stuff that's passed that I didn't even hear about, and I know a ton of people that never voted.
And
for
I'm
it.
just like, there's
Illegal
no.
bribing lobbyists.
Yeah.
It's still,
All right, well,
even with
we'll,
that.
we'll get into that when we get into that.
You know what?
We'll
and
get
I
in
said,
that here in just a little bit.
So
Let's
we're
talk
gonna
about the
speed
dumpster
run
fire that
through.
is Mulan.
Yeah, we're gonna speed through the last three of these because they're kind of just weird. Mulan again, live action made less. They did.
Well,
a few
I
you
didn't
changes.
can't
think
tell
that was
the
a
real-
bad story.
It wasn't a bad
No,
story.
here's-
It's just there's a lot
Here's
that's
the
changed.
problem. You went live action, and it's a story that's based on an actual story that happened, and you can't tell the real story, but you're bringing the live action. You also got rid of Mushu, so
Well, not only that, you also, again, the same thing as we were talking about some of the ones that are coming out, they do a live action literally within a decade of the original. Why so
But-
close? Give time. That's that one thing Disney used to do
I
great
think-
at was vaulting, waiting, re-release.
I
it would
think
make
they
money.
really. I think the real thing that killed Mulan was the fact that the real story of Mulan exists. It existed. She's a real person in history.
Yeah,
So if you're gonna do the live action,
yeah. So Lady and the Tramp did have a live action. We can't compare because it went straight to streaming. It was right at the beginning of the COVID crap. It just never. There was no box office to make. Little Mermaid, oddly enough, made more in the live action than the original, which shocked me considering how many people were screaming to the rooftops about it. I again watched 20 minutes into it, and when I saw what they did with the crab and everything, the sea creatures, I was just kind of like, yeah, this is too uncanny valley for me. I'm out.
it's just that people forgot how well black people do at making white people money. Just
Hey, Shark,
And
can we
by
pull
the
up a
way,
picture of
Mulan
that
was not a
crab?
real person. It was a
myth.
folk
Report,
story.
Crap, because I didn't
Yeah.
see it.
It was a folk
Well,
story.
it's a folk story, but there's a tragic end to that folk story.
Yeah, but it wasn't based on a
Yeah.
real person.
Well,
It was
My bad. I'm sorry.
a lesson. It was a little parable.
Wow.
My bad.
Okay, hold on. We're good. Yeah, Entity, you're actually really right about that. And that's something we are definitely going to touch into when we jump into that topic. So yeah, we do definitely have some fears in that area. So he pretty much said here, I'll let you know what he said. He said, my issue with the bill is this is the start of Texas becoming like the UK and other nations where you can't be critical of your government without getting arrested. And I don't want for Texas nor America. I don't think we'll hopefully ever get to that level, but yeah, again, a lot of laws and stuff are making that a slippery slope.
We're
Yeah.
We're already there. They already had an open and successful attack on the First Amendment with the TikTok ban.
Yeah. And the only thing I
Once-
agreed on that is
once you-
government devices, period, should not have social media at all. I don't give a fuck what social media is. It shouldn't be on there. It's a government
there was a
device.
time.
I don't know about you,
Well-
but how many people got into trouble back in the day because they put shit on their work laptop that wasn't supposed to fucking be there?
Well, there was a day when you couldn't do that stuff. It was like as a governmental entity, your electronic devices and everything else, all your personal shit got seized and was taken to a secure location, and you could have that shit back after 4 years.
Yeah.
I mean, even where I work right now, I have a work phone, and I work in a secure facility. I don't put that kind of crap on my work phone.
My mom works for the IRS. She has a government phone. She can't look at Facebook or any of that stuff on her phone.
Here's a
And she
crazy.
should.
I got a crazier one for you. I'm my own damn boss. I have my own work phone. You know how much shit's on it? My app for doing my
Nothing.
job. That's it. In fact, I got a call on it the other day, and they're like, and I was even like, how the fuck did you get this fucking number? I've never given it out to anybody or used it. It's like, you're the first call that's ever come through this line. All right, so every episode we like to go into what we call the content creator spotlight. Each of us kind of picks a different content creator each time. This time, 8-Ball, the show is yours, and this is who you have picked for today.
Oh, I wanted to do a shout out to History Buffs. I love this guy. YouTube channel. He's been sporadic lately because it's been difficult for him to make the videos. He's sponsored purely by Patreon. YouTube did their normal cutthroat stuff of coming in and trying to cut his monetization or whatever. But he's a great guy, and what he does is he basically breaks down movies towards their historical accuracy within the movie. So he'll break down what part of the movie is fantasy and then what part of it could have been actually real for the time. He does it with a lot of based on true stories things. If you're into World War II, check out everything he did on the Pacific and Band of Brothers. If you're like me and you kind of like medieval history, go back and watch the episodes he did on the 13th Warrior and on Kingdom of Heaven. They are some of the best episodes. All of his stuff's good, but those are some of the best episodes that I can recommend for you because I love them.
Nice. All right, well, people, yeah, definitely check him out. Give a like, a subscribe, check his stuff out. Links will be in the description below for this individual's channel. Next one we're getting into is right here. We've got the high and growing cost of the streaming wars and the Netflix curse. So if you're not aware, everybody jumped the ship to streaming because it was supposed to be cheaper than cable. And then everybody and their brother decided to create a streaming platform. And now, yeah, it is no longer at that. Prices keep jumping.
It's the .com boom all over again.
Yeah, it's .com boom all over. If you bought the ad free, guess what? It's now got ads. You're going to have to buy the premium of the premium to get the ads, and then they're still going to stick you with the ads, but it'll be one ad at the beginning. And yeah, it's gotten ridiculous. On top of that, we've got the fear of what has been known as the Netflix curse, which is why do we keep paying for streaming services to fall in love with these shows that in their own right are doing great numbers. Yet, for some reason, Netflix has a bad habit of, after 2 seasons, saying, fuck it, we're going to put the money somewhere else. We're not going to do this show. And then on top of that, they have a bad habit of the second season not getting anywhere close to as good as the first and dying out. So let's start on the first part, the cost of streaming. I'm going to let kind of Shark lead this one because he's got a little bit of the numbers here kind of to give you an idea of where things were when they first came out and where we're at now.
Hit us with it, Shark.
You're muted, sir.
You are right. I am muted. All right. All right. So what I did is the real start of Netflix was about 2010. So that's where we went ahead and I went back, started pulling numbers, right? So back in 2010, most of us were running, cable, something like that. And your average cable bill in the US ran you about $72. Or if you had your add-ons, your HBO, so on, you're probably about 110. And that was, kind of before internet, so on and so forth. Back in 2010, if you were doing cable and you were doing internet, your internet was running you about $70 also. Your high end, if you were real baller, you're paying 100 something bucks for your T1s or DSLs. But right now, our internet's a little better for most of us, unless we're paying for some top tier stuff. Walrus, what are you running on yours? What did you say, about 50 to 70?
Yeah, right now it's about 60.
Yeah. James, what about you?
Oh, I stream pretty much everything. I'm paying maybe
just
20
your
bucks.
internet.
You should
You're
just
just your
internet.
internet.
Oh no, my internet 90 something 98.
Exactly. I know I'm paying 100 and Wolf's like $80 also.
No, I'm 120 because I up to the 10G.
Oh, that's right. You
But
up to
still
the 10.
120 for 10G versus
Yeah.
freaking I used to pay 80 for DSL that you were lucky if it was 1.
So anyone want to take a guess what the original price of Netflix was back in the day when you were still getting it was your base price, you got your DVDs in the mail?
It was $5.99.
$7.99. Very close. $7.99 a month, and you got your DVDs and so on.
Mhm.
Now
I was excited when I could pick out the DVDs and I'd go and I'd get it. I'd be like,
Yeah.
oh man, it felt like Blockbuster again. It really did.
yeah.
See, I was a purist, so I would go to Hollywood Video or I would go to Blockbuster, and I'd see the red machines. I'm like, I'm not doing that because why would I give the disc back?
Right. But and what's really interesting is you can still get Netflix for $7.99 a month if you want ads, a gazillion ads, and you don't get anything premium, nothing.
It's not a good. I'm paying the old price for it. It's not a gazillion ads, and like it's maybe one or two depending on how long the movie is. And one of the issues that I saw that I didn't notice is certain movies I can't watch them because of the ads. The ads may conflict with the studio that it was filmed with. So they don't allow me to. Like when I first saw that, I was like, the fuck is this? But I'm also not gonna pay more money.
Well, see, and I'm paying for the full $24, but I'm also paying for 2 households because I cover Amber's house too. So I'm paying an extra like $9. So I'm paying almost $40 a month for Netflix alone. So now you start looking at your internet. So we'll take mine, right? I'm paying $100 for my internet. I've got 1 gig line. I'm paying $40 a month for my Netflix. I thought we were supposed to be beating cable from back in the day. This was the whole point of us swapping the streaming was to get rid of
They did.
cable.
They beat cable to death, and now they control the drug that you're addicted to.
Exactly. And don't even get me started on Disney Plus.
I can't speak to that
price.
one. I can't speak to that one. I am locked in the Hulu Disney bundle package when it first started, and I'll never change it, even though I hate Disney because I'm locked in at that price for life. So
Well, and the original price was $6.99 a month, and that was for just the Disney Plus. Your bundle one that Wolf had originally started at
I'll be right
$12.99.
back.
Yeah, and I'm still at 12. That's all I pay.
Yeah. Now,
Hey, make
if
sure to
you
come
want,
back with the milk this time, 8-ball.
now if you want that same thing, you're looking at a minimum of $20 a month.
I'm muting him so we don't get the mic shuffle on the way before he comes back.
I mean,
Your
now you've got like, Peacock and Discovery and HBO. And
Dude,
just all this
everybody,
stuff.
every
Yeah.
one of them have them. And then the bad part is I've known a few that I was able to watch them through Prime as part of Prime. But the minute they started their own paid service to continue to get it on Prime, I've got to add it on through Prime if I want to see it through Prime again. It's no longer free. So in a sense, I'm still paying for their new service. I just don't have to go to their site to continue it. I can do it just straight through Prime.
And they're
Yeah,
forcing you to pay for their music service and all this other stuff that's in
Yep.
there too.
Yep.
Yep.
And that's not even including your Paramounts and your all these other ones that you have, like you said, like Peacock and whatnot. It's like you said, they've just changed the drug. It went from a standard drug to a designer drug, and now guess what? You're going to
Yep.
pay more for your designer drug because it's designer.
Though a
Yep.
quick shameless plug on Peacock. I just watched The Continental. It was a 3-episode series.
Oh, it was damn good.
Oh, yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's the buildup of how Winston takes over the Continental.
Yeah,
It's
that was
him as
really
a
good.
young man coming to power in the 70s. Yeah, it was a good show. I was skeptical when they did it, but no, they actually did a really good job on it. Shout out, they just started production on Mr. Nobody 2, and it has been confirmed Nobody is in the Wick universe.
Oh.
And then, of course, we've got Ballerina coming out, which is supposed to be, if I'm understanding it, takes place either between two of the Wick films or right before he actually did whatever he had to do to get out.
Yeah, isn't that about the Russian group that he was kind of
she's part of the Romanovs. She's like him. She's part of the Romanovs. So yeah, basically you're not saving any money anymore. They're going to keep hiking the prices. More and more services are going to keep coming out. Everything, like right now, Discovery is one of those that everything in the Discovery lineup is on Discovery Plus. But you look at how they have it laid out, pretty much everything done by the Magnolia Group, which is the husband and wife duo, it's going to branch off to be an extra paid thing. They're going stuff like that's we're going to start seeing to where
you're talking Chip and Joanne Gaines.
The way they have them set up on Discovery, it's their own little button for all of their stuff and all of the sub shows they're creating. Oh, they have an entire empire of like home renos, DIY
all up in Waco.
Yeah,
That's
they've literally
Waco
rebuilt half of fucking Waco.
Yeah, matter of fact, you go to the store, the Magnolia there, and it's ridiculous because they're literally taking junk that is supposed to be reno, and then they're having it created new and then putting like a 500% markup on it just because it's Magnolia.
Yep. So now we get into the second part, the Netflix curse. If they continue making all this money and keep upping up these costs, why do they keep killing projects? How long are people going to keep paying for streaming services when every show you start to love and you enjoy, you're at the mercy of when it gets shit canned?
Well, I think you're going to run into, is it going to be weighed as an easier outlet and a more effective outlet than if you just went back and you paid for a cable TV package? It's like, are we going to revert and go? No, it's not as effective. It's not as convenient.
Cable.
All right, we're just going to pay whatever's there until the next innovative technology comes out.
Yeah, well, the weirdest thing is, too, is I don't understand the philosophy of if you have a show that's popular, why kill it? Why not give it an ending? I mean, cable used to do that, but not at the level that we're seeing the streaming platforms do it at.
Because they have the monopoly and they can.
Yeah. So hopefully down the line, all of that'll change. So, but time will only tell. We'll have to see. As of right now, it's up in the air. I still have the services I have. Everybody pays it. We're all paying one or another or multiples. It's just the sad reality. But we'll have to see where it kind of goes. So right now we actually do have something that just hit my feed right now. So we're going to hop into that. That's not on the list. All right, so we got some breaking news that came onto my feed earlier today. So with the final episode of Solo Leveling Season 2 coming out, and the rumors of Season 3 out there of when it's going to hit, when it's going to come out, we actually might have some bad news on that front. So, honestly, I don't know. Solo Leveling's producer reveals the truth behind Season 3 rumors. So this is done through Anime Senpai, and I actually did go to several other channels and read their articles. This kind of gives a better breakdown of the current situation. So, Solo Leveling is approaching the end of Season 2, and the big question everyone is asking remains unanswered. Will the anime get a Season 3? Amid active online discussions, recent statements from key people involved in Solo Leveling have revealed an uncertain future. Animation producer Atsushi Kaneko recently spoke at the Aniplex After Hours event where he addressed the future of Solo Leveling in a cautious and unclear manner. With episode 25, which will air soon, which was today, it actually dropped, the TV anime series Solo Leveling will come to an end for now, Ko explained. He added, "Will this ending be temporary or permanent? I honestly do not know what the future holds." Kaneko further pointed out that the viewer support and enthusiasm will greatly affect whether the series continues. So this has become common in the anime industry where streaming views, merchandise sales, fan interactions directly influence production decisions. Kaneko's statement suggests episode 25 could mark a natural stopping point, wrapping up an important storyline from the original webtoon and novels. Still, this uncertainty seems to intend to measure fan interest before committing to more seasons. Contrasting Ko's cautious approach, Solo Leveling creator Chugong offered a more hopeful outlook. On a Korean forum, Chugong boasted fan excitement by stating, "I think we'll hear some good news starting from the middle of this year." Though this message led to much speculation, Though his message led to much speculation, it's unclear if Chugong was specifically hinting at a Season 3 announcement or other updates within the Solo Leveling franchise, such as news on the ongoing webtoon or the highly anticipated Solo Leveling Arise game. Given the timing and the strong interest online of Season 3, confirmation seems most likely good news. So what I'm getting from it basically means... well, actually, Unknown Entity, Shark, you might want to look this up. Unknown Entity basically just put in the chat, did the original creator of Solo Leveling die? Yeah, you may want to look that out. We're looking that up right now, Unknown Entity. Thank you for throwing that in there, because if that's news, I actually had not heard that yet. And this article does not bring it up at all.
All right. The quick AI answer is yes. Back in 2022, due to a cerebral hemorrhage, the original illustrator,
Okay.
Jak Sung Rak, also known as Dubu, passed away July 23rd, 2022, due to a cerebral hemorrhage stemming from a chronic illness. So it was the illustrator that passed away.
So you're all right.
There was
somebody did die, but thankfully it wasn't actually the brain behind it, but sadly the head illustrator. What we're talking about, 8-Ball, that you hopped in, is basically Season 3 is up in the air right now. Both the director and producer and the creative control from Amniplex basically stated they don't know. So basically what it comes down to is it's not a yay, it's not a no. It's we're probably going to wait a while and it'll come out. Now, there is rumor that they are working on a movie. I have a feeling, basically, we know the game, if it's done well, is going to make money. We know the mangas are selling well. The webtoon is selling well. Literally, one of the top 10 recommended in damn it, I'm drawing a blank. The damn big anime app all of us use and everything. Crunchyroll. Yeah, it's one of the biggest things I always request on Crunchyroll and watch. So yeah, I have a feeling it's going to happen. But sadly, by those news, it definitely means it's going to be one of those that we're going to be waiting probably a lot longer than you should to have to see the next part.
Well, did you see where episode 25 crashed Crunchyroll twice, like in a row?
No, I actually didn't. It doesn't shock
Oh,
me.
nice.
It does not shock
it
me.
crashed it. I mean, it's a giant hype train. It's going to get people excited. I read the books, the manga. I'm excited about it. I love watching it, but I'm not upset if they just...
Heads up to anybody watching, we're not giving any spoilers at all. So right now, gentlemen, if you have seen it, if you know, do not say shit. It says it just dropped today. We got to give it to next show. We'll talk about it.
I'm excited for where it's currently at. And I wouldn't be the most upset in the world if it just stopped here and just had a nice little bow as is.
Yeah.
The problem is they're probably going to do something to it because it's grossed so much money and such a following. They're going to do something, and inevitably they will fuck it up.
Fingers crossed.
And
I will say,
see what happens with the game.
Yeah. Well, the game is already doing pretty damn good numbers. I don't mess with games like that. I kind of stay away from them. I will say this. I was over at Heroes and Fantasies earlier today. I was curious to see what they had on the shelves. There is every manga known to God on those shelves. There is every statue done of every anime character known to God in their store. There is every toy. There is every comic. The thing they can't keep off the shelves, the thing that was missing from the entire store, anything solo leveling. They cannot keep it in stock. It is gone the minute it gets on the shelf. So I have a feeling, we're going to get a 3. Are we going to wait longer than we probably should have to? Yeah, sadly. But that's been our breaking news for the day. Now we get on to the main one. Into anime in Texas with the new upcoming, with the bills that have been passed and the things that they're pulling with them and the things that they have and haven't said. What loopholes have these idiots and politicians left open, and what dumb stuff, what Pandora's box have these dumbasses opened? Because let's face it, if you really think anybody up on any political hill has any brains in them, they're all con men and grifters. All they did was talk good enough to get a vote and a bunch of rich people to back them. Because you listen to them long enough, and trust me, I've watched way too many of these goddamn Senate hearings recently. They are some uninformed asshats. Spouting rhetoric left and right to make... Basically, they are the type of people that you meet at any college function. They sound good. They sound intelligent. But then you realize, oh, I'm talking to the person that thinks they're the smartest person in the room when actually they're the dumbest in the damn room. So to get on it, Shark's got it all right here. I am popping it up to the stage. It is... oh, hold on. All right, gentlemen.
There we go.
Shark, it is your show. Entity Sub put out here. I'm going to read his comments real quick. I wasn't ignoring you, Entity. So the first one I read, he was talking about his issues with the bill. He did bring up something that I'm not, totally against. I mean, there's pros and cons, there always has been. He said I am a First Amendment abolitionist. I don't care how vile fiction is as long as it does not involve real people. So when the government makes a bill under the banner of protecting the youth or a group, I'm very skeptical. And yeah, you have very right to be skeptical because, he is right. Politicians do use law. Sorry, sir. I've had a lot of fucking caffeine and it's catching up with me. Politicians, yes, he's right. Politicians do use laws like this many times as Trojan horses. And when it comes to movies and the shows, okay, so that's for the other one. All right, he goes, I'm texting on your live stream on my phone and watching you on my TV because yes, sir. I will warn you right now. YouTube right now, when it comes to watching live streams on your phone audio, will not let you engage the auto volume softening function on your phone, but your TV does have auto volume by default. So yes, please watch us on a large computer, on your normal computer or your TV. Because yes, sadly on a phone, one of us is going to be high, one of us is going to be muted, and the other one's going to be like, fuck me, I got to turn the volume down because I'm going deaf. I do it all the time. I drive for a living, sir, so I'm like you. Yes, I sadly get muted out and lose a lot of conversations because I'm having to raise volume, low volume all the time. Now, back to subject. The new laws. Shark, it's your show. Take it away, sir.
All right. So the bill in question is Texas Senate Bill 20. And overall, the idea behind it is a good idea. They want to take it and make sure that AI is not allowed to help support these map people. Predators is what they are. They're predators.
Watch it. We are on YouTube, so please use the adjective adjectives. We can't even use the 4-letter starts with an L, ends with an I word because they're freaking Draconian assholes on this thing.
So we're looking at the bill here, and it is we'll leave it at what it is. It's to get rid of material that would depict a child. Now, like I said, the idea behind it is great, but whenever they start going into, it says visual material that has the meaning assessed by section 4326, which we'll pull up here in a minute so we can make sure we're looking at the correct definitions. And it says that it promotes visual material containing a depiction that appears to be of a individual younger than 18 years of age engaging in activities, and we all know where that goes. But here's where their stroke gets a little big. Whether the depiction is an actual image of a child, that's bad. A cartoon, let's get rid of Nickelodeon. An animation, let's get rid of every animation from the 90s forward. Or an image created by artificial intelligence. That's, once again, I see where they're going with this. The artificial intelligence is way too big of a free-running thing right now.
Most of your nasty creators on Instagram right now are using AI to do all their stuff.
Correct.
So, yes.
But whenever you start going into it, and it talks about the Texas Penal Code section 4321, and I'm going to be very careful in my language here because it's, this is legal material. So legal material and YouTube don't always line up. But it lists it here as obscene material. And on the average person applying contemporary standards would find that the taken as a whole appeals to the prudent interest of the S word. Now,
that opens up a can of worms of what do you consider this? What do you consider that? Like Entity is brought up. He goes, the bill will not just affect anime; it'll affect everything, even games. Yeah, it's going to basically broadly affect anything labeled an art form.
They had this argument back in the 20s. They had this argument in the 30s. They had this argument in the 40s. They had this argument in the 50s, 60s, and the 70s. They've been having this argument, and it bothers me because I'm going to sound like I'm on the side of Matt people, and I'm not, because those people should be unalived the second they're found. They shouldn't even get, but that's how I feel. My whole thing is this.
A big word out real quick. Entity also brought up they're replicating this same bill almost word for word in Oklahoma.
Right.
It's gaining traction, sadly.
But here's the thing. They're ambiguous at best with a lot of the stuff that they're trying to say that falls into this category. The obscenities laws and everything else, the stuff they really went into this in the 50s when they were trying to ban certain art and everything else. And one of the main things that stopped them was the Constitution. Because they had to come up, because what kept getting asked was, okay, well, what constitutes pornography? What constitutes art?
Which was, again, argued in the 80s. Shout out to Larry Flynn for breaking that barrier, too.
And they never set a legal precedence for what is what and what is the other. I say that to say this. They're attacking anime at the guise of protecting children. That is what the rating system was invented for in movies. That was what that was invented for. It protects children from being exposed.
But the problem is they know that also relies on parents to parent, which we already know none of them are doing.
Now they're not doing it now. My parents used to parent and stuff like that, and
I've seen too many of this. What do they call the new term that they use now? gentle parenting. Is that what it's called?
Gentle and helicopter parenting and all.
Well, no, helicopters, you're overprotective. That was, the lady down the street that put her kid in bicycle gear when he was just walking to school.
That gentle parenting where you're trying to sit back and do things like reason with your child who has no...
Try to be their friend.
No, it's just reasoning with your child who has no concept of what you're talking about because he doesn't have a baseline for it. Everything that you learned about conflict resolution, you learned. You messed up, you did bad things, you said, I don't like the way that goes, and then you did something else, or somebody taught you, hey, you should do this instead of doing this and everything else. There was input that was given to you. And from that input, you then added in your life experience, and then you got data. And then from that data, you got an action that you would output or a way that you would express yourself. Children don't have life experience. Children don't have access to a whole lot of data to take what you're saying into account and go, well, you know what? That really makes me feel this way, so I should make sure this. And they're wondering why kids are coming up messed up. I didn't even want to get into that. Yeah. What I'm trying to cover is this. They had these arguments in those time frames, and in those time frames, they also use decency and what children are exposed to. That's what the rating system is for. Now, to sit there and say, okay, well, we're trying to protect children from the P's. You're trying to protect children from PDFs by censoring anime that's not meant to be taken that way by the PDFs, but they're doing it anyway. This is the same thing that they did with imagery from, children's magazines, child pageants, all of this other stuff. So when the government starts telling me, oh, well, we're doing this to protect children, all I think of is the bathroom argument all over again. And I'm like, yes, but there's
we're not diving into those subjects again. Yeah,
I'm just saying there's nothing that stops anybody from walking in there. So it's dumb to me. But it does give them license to walk all over the First Amendment.
Well, yeah, and Entity just brought this up, and he's right on this point, and this is what we were kind of working towards, me and Shark, when we first talked about this, is the Protection Act, like this is from Entity, by the way. The Protection Act stops bills like this from going after fiction, but it does not stop them from trying to find loopholes, and that's exactly what this bill is. It's a loophole. It's a loophole that they can exploit. They're going to use protecting children as their guise because, sadly, people still fall for the fact of, oh, that's altruist. I'm a bad person if I disagree with this. It's virtuous. Well, I got news for you. Voltaire said it. Virtue is the act of sedition and used to do the most cruelest atrocities. Yep. Evil hides behind virtuism. Just like Oscar Wilde said, patriotism is the action of the vicious, but,
The important thing to note is that it's currently at the state level. It has not made it to the U.S. level, federal level.
It needs, because that's where it gets traction. If it gets traction at the state level, it's a precedence that allows them to attack the Constitution.
So Auntie just put, I'm 26. Parents just put their kids in front of a tablet and let the internet raise them. And when they, hold on. He goes, I'm 26. Parents just put their kids in front of a tablet and let the internet raise them. And when, I'm thinking you meant to say when they turn out to be not a good person, they're shocked. Exactly. That's what gentle parenting is. It's an excuse to basically not have to actually parent. And own up to doing a good or bad job.
And then
let them be themselves. I can't help. They couldn't help it. It's like, yeah, that was supposed
to
be your job.
They don't even know who they are.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, again, back to this bill. You're sitting here going after something you knew you couldn't go after solely by finding a loophole and tugging on people's heartstrings and their own stupidity to not understand that how vaguely you have worded it. You have now opened the floodgate to go after everything that you deem offensive. But then we're coming back to what you think offensive. Nobody in this room or this panel or anybody watching right now will have a list of things they find offensive that match. We all have various degrees and various understandings to ourselves and our own. I love it. He said autocorrect sucks. Yes, sir. Autocorrect sometimes is the bane of existence. Especially if it's from an Apple product, because I've used the same word 9 times and it still can't get the fucking word right. It still wants to give me something that has nothing to do with it. Yeah, we'll have a tech show that will go off on, different things of stupidity, because you do have a room with 2 people in this room right now that do have massive tech experience when it comes to working on the security end, and then me being the engineer builder end. Yeah, but it's crazy that it's always the same horrid, ugly acts hidden in the guise of protection again. And now it's going after literally thing that's going to affect people's livelihoods, because there's so many people in these industries that's going to affect. It's going to waste so much money. And it's going to hurt a lot of people that should have never even been anywhere in the crosshairs of being hurt in any capacity. And the true evil people they're trying to go after aren't even, most of them in this country are looking at this bill laughing, going, I got the dark web. Go fuck yourself.
I mean, it's Hydra, and it always has been, just repackaged.
Hail Hydra.
And I'm gonna try to let's see if
Captain
I can.
America looked way better in his Hydra suit. That suit was badass. If you've never seen it, just look it up, because the entire suit in that cover was designed by oh crap, who did the cover? It was Garth Ennis.
Oh, that got it. Oh wait.
He said we need to give you a wizard hat, Shark. You would look like a great young Gandalf. Which is funny, because he does lead their D&D game, by the way.
My wizard hat is actually up at my other house, and it's big and it's leather.
That's what we need to get behind you. We need to put the short sword over to the side and get you Shadowbane behind you.
There you go. So this is another portion of this bill. This is because this bill's being led by the lieutenant governor of Texas. He's the one that's pushing this, and this was
that ain't all he's
from
pushing.
him.
Boom, boom. Greg Abbott. Sorry, I had to do a low blow.
See,
I knew you were gonna laugh. I knew you were gonna laugh. I was waiting on it.
I'm like, even that's a pun.
Oh, but this is going into where Dan Patrick's talking about how, it was a unanimous passage in the Senate, and it's interesting because he only talks about the AI in this. He's very, we're focusing on the AI and how it's harmful to children, like you were saying earlier. Steps must be. Oh yeah, I just saw it. Steps must be taken to protect Texans. And
I hate any time any government should. We need to protect you. No, I don't want your protection. Unless a foreign invader comes in, fuck off. I can take care of myself. We're Texas. We don't need militias. Everybody's got a militia in their house. God damn it.
Even what the foreign invader, half of Texas is like, let me at him.
Well, and what gets me is you look at this, and let's say that you get some right-wing nut sheriff out in the middle of Timbuktu, East Texas, and all of a sudden he's like, orange, and you start getting them, and they say, okay, well, guess what? And we'll stick with one of the classic ones, Naruto, and his sexy jutsu, right? And this, let's say this sheriff has a bone to pick with a particular family, and that family's son happens to like anime and is a Naruto fan. Under this law, he can turn that Naruto fan into a third-degree felony individual.
Jesus.
That has to register.
Yeah, it has to register.
Entity, you're right. Obscene is a very subjective word to use, because obscene, that's what we were saying, is that obscene to each person in this room would be something different.
But that's what they did back in the day with these arguments too. And again, they never came out with a concrete thing of what meets the
well,
sorry,
and
I can't think of words.
Here,
but
that's and right here though, acts that are normal or perverted Define perverted.
Exactly.
Yeah, but look, reread that again.
Acts
that are
offensive representations or descriptions of ultimate S acts, normal or perverted, actual or simulated,
yeah, but
including
there's your scary part right there. They added the word normal in there.
Yes.
So now they haven't given you a narrow. So goddamn, Mike, they haven't given you a narrow field to go on. We've opened the whole fucking football field.
Yeah, floodgates are wide open on this.
Yeah, they knew what they were doing on how they worded this.
And once again,
stupidly, it passed unanimously without anybody raising an eyebrow or questioning it. You know, there are times where I love living in Texas, and there are times where stuff like that, I'm like, why the fuck have we just gone 30 years backwards, you morons?
Well, and right
if
here,
if I had the money, I would sue the state about it.
It's already going to happen. Nobody seems to keep remembering, except for me in this room, because I keep, shout out if you're watching. I want a job as a voice actor. I can do a lot of fucking voices, assholes. This is not a gain or modulator, by the way. It is this goddamn deep. No. Funimation's head studio is in Houston. Its second satellite is Austin.
I did not know that.
Yeah. And now that Crunchyroll owns Funimation, their central cores are here.
So
there's right your people that are going to be affected instantly by this.
Right here.
Well,
creates a new state felony charge, offense for the possession or promotion of obscene visual material that appears to depict a child younger than 18 years old.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether the depiction is...
Entities, you're right. Hold on real quick. You're right, Entity. Basically, with all the studios and everything are based in Texas, this is going to be a huge hit on the fucking economy, especially for Austin. Austin is going to take the brunt of this blow, which, I hate to say it, is sadly justified to Austin because this is where all this shit got passed at. They should have never even let this get on the radar up there.
I mean, the ironic part is that it's Austin that created the bill, that you would have the populace that would be for this type of thing.
No, because in all honesty, Austin is basically your most map-friendly place in the entire state.
Yeah.
Well,
yes, it is. Come on, you've been to the clubs I've been to. You know it's true.
There's a nuance there.
I saw it.
No. You are correct, but there's a. I'm just gonna give it. You are correct. There's a nuance in there though, and we don't have the time to argue that.
Yeah. No, that's for another time. That's for the full.
But But I don't like the reason I don't like this law, and it's like I'm trying to keep it. I'm trying to keep it to the broad.
That they jumped it to a felony level. That's what's even more disgusting about it. They're literally taking to a first offense of literally you're looking at 2 years in frickin' Dominguez or Garza.
Well, no, the issue is. Go ahead. Sorry, James. Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm like the issue is malicious prosecution, and it's. They want to do this on purpose because I hate saying it this way. There's a model of adult that they are trying to build that they can't build, and they're blaming everything else except the fact that the model is wrong.
Yeah. No,
you're right. That's a good
way of putting it.
A lot of people like anime. A lot of us 80s babies grew up on cartoons and stuff like that to actively tell us a lot of moral stories and everything else. So we love anime. We got other kids in the generation just below us into anime. And that was basically the generation that allowed the next generation to think it was even cool. Because remember, in our day, you were still a weeb or weird or all sorts of other things and stuff like that. If you were a kid and you were into this stuff, you had to go find the VHS tapes and everything else of your anime and everything else, because it wasn't like they were sold everywhere. You had to go to like specialty shops that had to order it from Japan and everything else and stuff like that. Same thing with wrestling, same thing with a lot of stuff. But what this does is with there being no set definition legally for obscenity, it's everything.
Yeah.
And because it's everything, and because they're making it a felony now, what you're really getting into is, okay, cool. If I'm gonna put my metal hat on real quick. What you're gonna see is you're gonna see a lot of people who are going to take plea deals to go work on work farms, and a lot of
Hold
that
on,
agricultural work.
Hold on, James.
Warning, this is your only warning. The following preceding events may be deemed sensitive, and if you were easily offended, now is your time to leave. If you have a sense of humor and are not easily offended, please put your seatbelt on, keep your hands inside the vehicle, and enjoy the ride.
You are free to go full ham, sir.
Okay, I'm putting my metal hat on this. This is my conspiracy theory. What you're going to see is you're going to see a lot of agricultural work being done by the prison system. The reason you're going to be seeing that is because we allowed for a certain demographic of people that were basically covering the majority of that to be extradited from our country, and we act like we don't want them here. And the main reason is because we don't want to pay them, which we weren't really doing at a livable wage anyway, but we're not going to get into any of that stuff. I'm not going to get into that. All I'm going to say is this: because you're going to have these felonies, and because you're going to have these people basically felonious at, hey, you're either going to have to sign a registry or this, that, and the other, and it's like, I didn't really do anything. You're going to get at least 3 to 5 years of free labor out of somebody.
Yeah. Entity did bring up something I haven't heard in a while, Anime Tube.
Yeah.
I haven't heard
Still
that.
a
I haven't
thing?
seen anybody talk about that in a while. Yeah, I think sadly, yeah. Is it still there? Look at that, Sheriff. Look it up real quick. Is it still there? Because with like pretty much, to me, Crunchyroll pretty much just slaughtered everybody.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure AnimeTube is gone.
Yeah, because like I said, I haven't heard anybody bring it up or talk about it. But no, 8-Ball, you do bring up a valid point, that, and it is not the first time when things like this have happened in the past. They've always like tried to redo things, and before I would probably I would have kind of questioned your tinfoil hat there for a second, but after taking a little trip up to Gainesville to visit a friend of the family who is spending a nice little extent up there on the vacation at the places you can't leave, we'll leave it at that. And I saw all the farms, like her facility literally has its own pig farm, and that's all they eat is pork. And I'm sitting here looking at all the other ones, like the fields and everything I drove through getting up there. Yeah, that is a hell of an operation that people are banking off of.
So I will say, as a person who used to work for them, the system is self-sufficient in a lot of manners as far as food goes. They do have, what they call hoe squads that go out, grow the crops, farm the pigs, so on and so forth, that stays within the system for the state, so that there's less of a financial burden as far as food goes.
Yeah. So Entity brought up a good point that I actually, when I was younger, started noticing. So yes, it does raise the question, why do a lot of schools look like prisons? There is actually, honestly, a little tidbit of truth in that you might not be aware of, Entity, but there was a shortage in buildings needed for schools in the early 70s and then again in the mid 80s. So a lot of the schools that are schools nowadays were actually built to either be mental hospital facilities or juvenile and low offender correctional facilities, and they retrofitted them. I know in San Antonio alone, there are 5 schools that were either set to be mental hospitals or, well, mental care facilities. Sorry, I gotta be PC. Fuck you, YouTube. And there were 2 of them that were actually meant to be juvenile detention centers.
There's another reason too, and it was basically the format for school. When they were forming it, they wanted it to also resemble an industrial site, because they were using the industrial work schedule as a format for teaching, so that people got used to it.
Yeah, it's also a
So
philosophy of quicker learning through the fact that you're doing a contained, structured environment.
Yeah.
Hence why they're all also painted taupe, because taupe, out of any color in the color index, is the only one that does not elicit any emotions in the brain.
That's a lie.
Well, according to the studies, that's why they picked taupe back in the
Oh
day.
no,
They
no,
found
no.
out to be
I mean,
wrong, but
no. I know that that's the written down thing, but we all went to school.
Well, yeah, it does. After all years of school, it does elicit a response: hatred for whatever building you're in, or a instant, I need to get the fuck out of this place.
Something rage, something machine.
something dark side.
So I mean, the bill though, as far as what they're wanting to do, as far as trying to put some reins on AI, I'm 100% for. AI does need to have some serious reins slapped on it.
Right, but before you put reins on it, you have to make legal definitions of things that you say. You can't have a broadband vagueness in the language, because that vagueness is where you allow the loophole for criminal activity to either persist, or you allow for the overreach. You allow for overreach into infringing on people's rights. And
but
we're
it's losing right.
Well, we're losing right. Well, okay, so y'all may not be used to this, because y'all may not be used to this, but rights are finite, and they're based on the people that are giving them, because they're being given. So it's not like you're ever really equal. If you're asking for a right from somebody, you're never on the same level as them.
I learned that in El Paso, if you remember.
What about it?
I laugh, and that's probably like the most unfunny thing I've ever.
To respond to that comment, April, you're not even on the scale at all if you have no one to ask. Reservations.
Blow,
that was the shout out from my part of the family tree, Yeah. The ones that are still waiting to get New York back because we stupidly sold it for a pearl. Hey. Oh, no, we didn't sell it. We leased it, and the lease went up 5 years ago, but yeah, we're never getting it back.
Hey, if we had just stayed true blue together in Florida, we'd have our own state now, but some stuff happened.
Yeah, shout out to the Seminoles, the only people still on their original land, because basically the army tried marching into the swamp and said, fuck this shit.
Shout out to the runaway slaves that became part of the tribe, because, But
so back to the bill. But yeah,
back to the bill. By keeping the language.
Yeah, I am very I just don't have a good feeling in my gut of where this is going to go. This is going to get ugly. A lot of bad shit's going to happen from this. It'll get course corrected, but it is going to take going all the way up to the high court.
That's just it. In order for it to get course corrected, a whole lot of people would have to start agreeing that stuff isn't cool.
Entity just pretty much said this bill is going to fix so many of my gotcha games. Yeah, gotcha games are literally in that you're fucked category from the get-go on this one, sadly. You're going to just don't be playing them in public. We don't need your entity to get arrested just because some sheriff, like Shark said, oversees this. And all he hears is, Shark, you want to do the voice of the ooey girl? I know you got it on there. They're going to hear that come from one of your games. And it's going to be game over, man.
Oh my God.
I do want to say this.
All the time to do it because he's got the Subaru.
I do want to say this. Look, you make fun of my car all you want to. It's practical.
It just
what the hell do you have now?
Forester Subaru.
Black Subaru Forester.
How does that equal making fun of? I'm at a loss.
Because it's the Subaru. Because it's a Subaru, and because Trump
okay.
Trump said that we are now the gender that we were assigned, I am definitely a lesbian.
And a Karen.
I would say what would
I
solidify
don't
that
have
more
the
is
haircut for it.
I would say what would solidify that more is if you're driving a white 2-door Jeep Wrangler non 4x4.
What about a red Tesla?
Oh, see, no, we're cool now. We're cool now. Before it was weird, but now totally in there. Daddy Elon's
So what y'all just pointed out is that the two people in this room that have the most manliest vehicles are sharking me then.
Y'all got trucks. Y'all know exactly what it feels like to be beaten with a wet noodle.
I don't have a truck anymore. I got 400 horsepower and only 2 doors.
You got like a 2-door death trap.
I'm sorry, I don't drive an F-150.
Entity said I don't play my
use that voice.
Entity said I don't play my games in public because one of my main games is Azur Lane and Goddess of Victory Nikki.
Ooh, yeah, don't.
Yeah, you may want to get an offline PC for that.
Bro,
motherfucker just plays goes in a Faraday cage. Oh man. The sad part is we're laughing about this, but we know in a week we're going to see something on the news that all of us on the next podcast are like, are you fucking kidding me?
But that's the whole point. We're laughing and it's funny because it's true, but it's so not funny because it's true. Like I don't.
Sadly, this is the one time where a law hits Texas that I can sadly say would never happen in good old L-word loving California. Dude, it's Hollywood, man. They ain't ever gonna let like no. All the parties we already know. We go down that rabbit hole, but we already know that place loves that group of people.
I just have to throw out this fact that up until about maybe I want to say 10 years ago, the government of California was red.
Well, yeah, it was Schwarzenegger.
The
trickle down from Schwarzenegger being governor.
But no, what I'm saying is it was consecutively a red state up until around Schwarzenegger. And then after Schwarzenegger, it crossed over to being Democratic. You had a lot of hippies and everything else go out to California, and then you had a lot of individual cities go blue. But
No, you're confusing.
Yes,
the state primarily rural and south was red. But San Francisco and LA County were always dead set blue.
Yes, I know that.
Because that's what shocked them when Schwarzenegger won, is they were shocked. They were not shocked he got LA because of him being a movie star. They were shocked when he turned San Francisco.
All I'm saying is they didn't dominate the political sphere in California. I have to pull up the numbers.
I get you what you're saying. They did not. I get what you're saying. So basically, in a nutshell, you're saying they did not dominate the political eye of the way certain aspected areas were run or done. Now the whole state is basically the example. Basically, the only other state that rivals them in, being Smurfland is freaking Portland area.
Right, but I look at it this way: if you look at some of the biggest districts here in Texas, they're blue.
Yeah, every major city is.
But Texas is a red state.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because you look at the map, it's red, but every big city is blue.
But what I'm saying is the largest populations of this state are blue. This state should technically be blue. It's not. Which I get and I understand.
Rural areas that are diehard red, and they come out to vote.
Yeah.
Okay. You've driven past the hill country towards Junction, right?
I have lived in East Texas.
Yeah, there's not a section of Texas I haven't been in.
There's nothing there. You've got maybe one. No. I've driven the void between here and El Paso.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what you're not seeing is the large ass ranch properties that are out there that have hundreds of employees and they drive to go vote.
And you're not seeing the East Texas country bumpkins that are in there so thick because they've got back in the woods. They've got trailer parks that look like,
Yeah,
survival
people think you see a lot of people get rushed out of a building when La Migra shows up. Nah, go out there. They rival them. You'll have 10 generations in one trailer.
Yeah,
I know. I'm just saying.
All right, so
but the main problem.
Go back, kind of. We're deviating again.
No, I'm going back. I'm going back to the bill. I'm going back to the bill. The main issue that I have with the bill is the vagueness in it, because it allows for the government to be very, very, very sinister with it.
Yeah, well, and it's even more terrifying that it passed being that vague. With so many bills on the grander scale we've seen recently getting halted because people are pointing out how much open interpretation is in them that shouldn't be there. This thing should have at least been questioned once, and no, it just went right on through.
Yeah. Because they didn't put anything out prior to it getting passed. I'm sitting here going, I remember a day,
real quick, can you pull up what the vote was actually on it?
Yeah,
what the numbers were, because I'm curious.
Because I remember back in the day, you as a citizen used to be able to vote on those things, as far as them being propositions and everything else. You used to be able to vote for them.
Yeah, but I think it's there are certain bills that they have to still do that on.
Almost unanimous, right?
Aren't, but I think it's because of how they word it and what category they put it under. What was it?
You ready for this one?
Almost unanimous, God. Right?
I just go ahead and throw it up there.
Hold on real quick. Right. I'll start taking the government seriously when they start giving female R words and P words a harsher punishments and not a slap on the wrist. I kind of do agree with that, and I won't go into I will not go into the specifics on it, because I will leave it as I was almost literally, due to false information, brought into that type of situation by a female. So yeah, there is harsher punishments across the board, whether you're male or female, of anything in those categories should be to the utmost, and there should never be a slap on the wrist.
All I have to do is talk about the Pete Davidson SNL sketch with Ronda Rousey.
Yeah. All right, so let's look at this.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, there wasn't even an objection.
That's what I'm saying. And there's no way that went through like that if people knew about it. Because even a staunch Republican would look at this and go, that's a little vague. We probably need to button that up.
What's even more crazier is we do have a few Democrats that are in there, and they even voted on it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't see how any of this shit happens.
I want to look at this real quick.
I don't see how any of this shit happens if the people of the people know, hey, they're going to do this thing.
Jesus.
And look, there's Republicans and Democrats on this
sponsored it. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
you even have one right. You have one right here in OSA that was a primary in the bill create. That means they helped create the bill, and then the rest of these are just that's Jesus.
Now I will say that there is some good information here. If you are watching this and you want to get involved and make sure that people are getting a better focus on stuff like this and not just totally trumping, just walking all over us. There's phone numbers here, people.
Yeah, everything that we have just showed is in the links in the description. All of these sites, everything that Shark has shown is in the description. So if you definitely want your voices heard, hit these damn numbers up, hit their emails, flood them.
You don't even have to be sober when you do it. There's no law that says you do.
Hey man, if you're in Far East Texas, if you're in Far East Texas, some of them people like Boomhauer, you can understand it better in that state of mind.
We're not going to go into Texas Senate Bill 3 right now, James.
Jesus,
that's a whole nother can
of worms. That's for another day.
That's a fulminate.
Well, sadly, we need to do this. Yeah, it's just I'm at a loss of words. Just that, God, unanimous Jesus.
Unknown entity, thank you for sticking around and chatting with us about this.
Thank you. Please subscribe. We appreciate your comments and hopping in on this, especially for this subject. Share the word with people you know. show them this podcast, tell them, especially just even if they could just click on it to get the links on all of this. He did say, yeah, there are some news stations in Texas talking about it, but they're being they're of course they're going to be very vague because 90% of the time the editors that are pushing, they put this story because it was a bill and they had to, but the editors themselves probably don't care or have any comprehension of it because unless they actually watch anime or even think that this will affect their scope of making money, they don't care. I mean, let's face it, the media only cares about what's going to make ratings, and since this is a not even a middle ground topic to most at this point, when this leads into other crap that it potentially will lead into, then they'll talk about it. But by then, the damage will already be done.
It'll be too
sadly.
late. Please go out there, call these people, let them know, hey, let's go ahead and narrow this down and make it a little more the way it should be.
And if you have the time more than just call and email, look up on the government website of who your congressman is in your area or even your councilman in your area.
State representative.
And go to their office and tell them, hey, what the fuck? No entity. Live stream is an entity that we're just wanted to give you a shout out for hanging here for this, especially. And we're not ending it yet. We do have a few more things to go over tonight, and we may even freeform some things that we all talk about. Especially, we talk a lot when we're in our groups and we get together. This is definitely something. Go out, talk, email, go to their offices. Don't let this gain even more traction than it should have never have already gained to and gotten to. So to get on a little bit more of a, guess we could call it a happy note. I don't know. I'm still kind of up in the air. Holy bloated cast Batman. The list of people for the next Avengers film. This is so, first of all, there are so many people that aren't on this list that we already know are probably going to be in Secret Wars. But, it is a ridiculous list. Just to go down here, we've got Robert Downey Jr., of course, because you've got him as Doom. Pedro Pascal, which I'm not going to say anything yea or nay about him.
I'm kind of getting sick of seeing him.
He said there's a lot of meager creators talking about this bill, and there's a lot of major creators about this bill, and creators with 1 million subs. I hope they are. It's something that needs to be talked about. I know a few larger creators in this space. One of them lives here in San Antonio that I'm hoping him and his crew, if you know, FNT, I hope they shout it out and talk about it. Because this is right in the realm of basically the momentum needs to be stopped before it gets out of hand. It's already past the point of out of hand, but it can get worse, way worse. I don't like it when they leave things open to make, floodgates should never be left open or even cracked. So
exactly.
Back to this. Pedro Pascal, I'm down to the point where it all just depends if he does a good job in Fantastic Four. If he doesn't, then are we really going to want to see him in more shit? This is the odd one. They put Hemsworth on it, but he was not on the chair reveals. So maybe a guest spot or a back scene. We know he's not going to be a major character in Doomsday itself. Vanessa Kirby, of course, you're going to have her. She is literally, in the Fantastic Four. And she is definitely, I'm going to love to see her in those uniforms. Yes. She can definitely not be invisible in that outfit. Got Anthony Mackie, whatever. I love him as Falcon. That's all I love him as. I really think they should have gone with the other storyline.
Wow.
I don't. I watched it. It was not great. It was mid.
I refuse to watch it.
I have to watch it because I'm not going to talk about something in depth that I haven't kind of watched it. And it was just one of those that it was.
It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great.
Let's put it this way. This movie would have done a lot better if they had never done the Falcon Winter Soldier TV show.
I think this movie would have done better.
No, because
I think this movie would have.
Hold on. Let me finish real quick. Everyone I know that has a major issue with him being Cap, is because of the bullshit they made him say and do in that show. That show literally made the mantle of Captain America literally look at a terrorist who just murdered hundreds of innocent people and be like, maybe she's misunderstood and she's really a freedom fighter. All because at that time frame, you had Antifa being posted as heroes. It was it was literally a commentary of the political landscape of a time, and that ruined it for people for the sole fact of the mantle of Captain America is in the title of his name.
Okay, so I agree with you on that because that was one of the dumbest. That was one of the dumbest parts of it to me was the fact that it's like you're sitting there holding out all this hope for this chick. She is a terrorist. I'm not arguing that.
Greg. Yeah, Entity. I think everybody here remembers Desert Punk.
Yes.
When it comes to that, that was one of those in the if that is not in your top 50, you have an issue. Because it did lead to a lot of other great shows. Go ahead, April.
I was just saying, like, I don't disagree on any of that stuff, but I disagree. So, look, I think the movie would have been better with two things, because I can't go back and argue points on Falcon and Winter Soldier. I think Anthony Mackie does a great concept of what it would be like to be black and also carry the mantle of Captain America. America's different for us. I say that as a vet. I say that as a proud Navy veteran. I say that as a proud American. America is different for us. Skipping that, because we don't even have to get into the deeper politics of that. We don't have to get into that. I think it would have been a better movie had they not revealed all of the best secrets of the movie in the goddamn trailer.
Well, that's an issue Marvel has a lot of movies have had for a long time, is revealing too much. But what led it was just that what killed the movie for me, even when I went into it with the eyes of I'm just gonna forget about how I really don't care as him as Captain. I'm gonna give it a chance. I'm gonna just watch the movie for the movie. Leave all the other shit aside. Take the movie as it is. They did so many reshoots on this thing. This movie literally watches exactly what it is. Two separate films spliced together.
Well, they did the same
bad guy. You have Juan Carlos Esposito, fucking an amazing fucking actor. Walter Frayne, for God's sake.
They did the same thing with Suicide Squad.
Yeah, but so yeah, it's like we've got. Of course, he's going to be in it. We're going to, of course, have Bucky, and I will always love Bucky. I think Sebastian Stan has done an amazing job as Bucky. I would have loved to have seen him get the shield just solely because if we had seen the redemption arc he took in the comics, it was one of the best stories they ever did at that time frame.
I think they should have just did the White Tiger.
Yeah.
That would have been a good line.
I would have been happy if when Falcon was offered the mantle of Captain America, he takes the shield and says, you know what? I don't have the shoulders. No one has the shoulders to take this back up, and leaves.
Well, the other issue too was when it.
I mean, he did that. He did that for basically the first 3 episodes of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the whole his animosity of not wanting to take the serum and all that. It's just there's a lot that it's just we won't get into it. That's a whole show to hold on. We'll have to do like a full breakdown of that because that is a lot to dig into.
Yeah.
We will definitely touch that. So you have, of course, Eben Moss Baccarat, amazing actor. I love him in pretty much everything he's ever done, especially the Bear. As the cousin, he does a damn good job. My issue with him, again, it's going to come down to how does the Fantastic Four movie fare? Like the biggest concern with him as Thing right now is the trailer they have showed us for his voice as a human to carry over the same voice as the Thing doesn't work. There should be a change in the voice.
They'll probably
a roughness.
They'll probably
a rockiness.
They'll probably artificially modularize it so that it sounds different. But I mean, if they're smart, they do it that way. But I get what you're saying.
Then we also have Simu Liu joining. Which was kind of a shocker to me, just because Shang-Chi did not do really that great. I don't think the movie was bad. There were parts of it I enjoyed, but I do think that there were other he was just not that good. He wasn't bad, but he was not what that movie needed. I like him as an actor and other things, but then again, that could have come down to writing and directing.
Also, it's the movie itself. The movie is a great I don't have anything to do on Saturday and it happened to pop up.
Yeah.
Movie. Yeah, it's not a I deeply desire to go see this.
Yeah. And then we got Florence Pugh, of course, which I don't dislike Florence Pugh. I like her as an actress. She's a really good actress when given the right things to work with. What's going to make or break how she does in this movie is how does her character grow and her portrayal expand in the Thunderbolts film?
Yeah.
That's what's going to really carry it. You got Lewis Pullman again playing Roberts in Sentry. If he does good in the Thunderbolts, he may be great in this. We don't know yet. Winston Duke, M'Baku. I love his character. I love M'Baku. I love the fact that one of the most quintessential scenes in that movie, where he tries to interrupt him and he starts going, woof, 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 was all improvised. Yeah. That wasn't in the fucking script. He was actually supposed to say something. Yeah. He just started doing that. And the director's like, after the scene, pulled him aside. He's like, that was incredible. What brought you to do? He's like, do you really think he'd fucking talk like a diplomat? No.
Yeah.
So that truthfully, I think if they wanted to continue the mantle of Black Panther after Boseman's passing, M'Baku should have gotten it. It would have made sense. He was the next closest of a tribal leader.
Yes, but there's
or do the smart thing. Recast. It's not like you fire the guy and there's some controversy. He passed away. Find another actor. Takes him to a little bit longer of a time. The problem that I have with the second film is it was a cash grab. It really was. The story
it was
plots,
a cash grab.
Killed every character that everybody liked.
Well, it's a cash grab, but if you look at that story is about how, and I hate saying it this way, that story is about how a bunch of women couldn't control their fucking emotions.
Yeah. And then it ends by giving the skinniest, smallest of all of them, supposedly now, the power of the Panther. Which kind of goes right alongside with the Ironheart stuff. We'll get into that the next show. No, you're not getting that. You want to be in here, you fuzzy little asshole. You're staying in here.
Wait, did they?
I did see when you brought him in. No,
I've got a fuzzball here. You've already.
I did see when you brought him in.
Out there for you. No, you're just pissed off because you're not getting attention, you little attention whore.
Wait, did they end up giving the mantle of Black Panther to the sister?
To the sister, yes.
Yes.
Which makes no sense.
At the end of the movie, she has it, and then she's
in the comics. Siri plays a more bigger pivotal role throughout the history of the comics because of her fucking intelligence. She's literally Tony Stark level smart.
Yeah. Yes. But this goes into the whole subject matter of trying to tell a story and trying to push a narrative. It's like, why would you ruin a median and act like you don't respect it in order to do this, when if you look at the median of it, this person's representation is so much better. It's just like when they were talking about we're going to do a black Superman, and it wasn't going to be Val Zod, it was going to be Clark Kent but black, and I'm just like, that doesn't work.
Yeah, because they don't know their source. They don't know the source material. It's tokenism, but at the same time, they don't know the source material. Most of them don't.
I mean,
hold on. And here's Entity did put in here, and I know we're all going to agree with him because he is right. Robert Downey Jr.'s favorite movie that could never be made today. That is still one of his best roles, Tropic Thunder.
You know what? It's not blackface to me. They keep calling it blackface, but the people calling it blackface are people who don't understand what blackface is, what it was.
Yeah. Well, also too, they described to you already that the character he's portraying, the actor he is portraying, is such a metaphorically crazy actor that he is literally insane.
That he changed his pigmentation to be the black. Like, there's nothing wrong with that, because also his character is basically developed. His character's developed off of a joke about Scarlett Johansson playing Harriet Tubman.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So to continue, we got Tom Hiddleston, of course, which I love Loki, even though the TV show is He does a good Loki. When he gets to play the sinister Loki, like in the very first Avenger film, that's Loki at his best.
I agree.
Quit making the funny dark comedy counterpart. Give us the vicious Prince of Lies, the trickster.
They're doing that on purpose because they're trying to make him relatable as a character to make him an anti-hero, and that's not what he's supposed to be.
Well, no, in some of the comics he does become an anti-hero, but still let him be the sadistic. The way he did the anti-hero in the second Thor film was better than what they turned him to after all of those.
Okay, I look at a character like him, and I look at
it wasn't
Joker.
just that he lived the life as a joke. He would help. Like, he would help his brother. He would help the heroes. But at the same time, behind their back, he was doing shit to benefit himself. He was doing something for
himself. That's why I say it like this. I look at him and I look at what the Joker. The Joker has worked with the Justice League. The Joker has worked with the heroes.
Has foiled enemies' plans solely because he doesn't want them to stop Batman. If that's going to happen, it's going to be him.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, just look at Dark Knight.
No one kills the bat except him.
But nobody's sitting there trying to make the Joker I'm sorry, there's the Joker movie, but nobody was trying to make the Joker a relatable character prior to the Joker movies. No one was trying to make the Joker a relatable character prior to him working with the heroes to do stuff that he wanted to do for himself. And that's why I'm sitting there with Loki, like, Loki's a villain. Stop trying to make me feel for the villain. They started this stuff with Cruella de Vil, and I'm just like, I don't want to know her backstory. She got to the point where she was trying to steal puppies to make a coat.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was trying to do bad things to puppies. How can you be for that?
All I think about whenever we talk about the Joker being relatable is the cartoon where the Harley Quinn cartoon where he's like, I want my goddamn flying car, Bruce.
I was thinking about the episode where he pays his taxes.
Yeah.
The episode of Batman where he pays his taxes because he's like
Mark Hamill. They need to let Mark Hamill come in full live action.
No,
take over the.
He doesn't. He's not going to do it.
Mark Hamill is too drunk and too unpredictable. That's the problem with him. I mean, he went to an awards show and his pants fell down because he couldn't keep them up because his drunk ass forgot his belt. Yeah. Mark Hamill's a mess.
I'm saying the potential.
You want to know? The best person to have played the Joker has never gotten the chance, but there have been so much fan art done of him as the Joker. Willem Dafoe.
Ooh.
The problem is,
he did the Goblin too well. If he had never played the Goblin, he could have done Joker. But now, if he plays Joker, you're going to see.
Goblin. He can't. Wait, no, he can play. He can do it too. If we're gonna let Robert Downey Jr. get away with playing fucking Doom, we can let Willem Dafoe play the Joker.
The best pick for the Joker is the person that got to play the Joker but never ever give the title of Joker.
Jason Momoa in Fast X.
Well, yeah, that's arguably no, but this one was better. This one was better because this actor gave us every version of the Joker in one show. Cameron Monaghan from Gotham.
Oh shit, yeah, from Gotham, Jerome.
He would be perfect to finally get, and he would do it. He was so upset that DC would not allow him to use the name Joker and go full tilt like they wanted to because they thought it would detract from the Joker movie that Phoenix was in they were already doing the money gathering for Joker.
The problem is they're right. And it would have, because I watched that version of the Joker, and again, I go back to Cruella de Vil. I don't care what made you.
Yeah. Well, it was a good movie, as in cinematography and every acting. It was good, but hold on. But it did not need to be made solely because what makes the Joker the best is the fact that you do not know his origin story. There are so many different ones that have been told that are all lies. And even Cameron Monaghan did it. Think about it. You had the first version, then the second version, then the third, then the brother ends up becoming the final version. So there you go. You've already got 4 different origins of the same entity. And the funniest part that most people don't realize, because it was literally only one clipping of 2 pages in the comic, is that from day one, Batman
Joker died.
No. Batman has always known he knows exactly who the Joker is. He told Alfred, and Alfred couldn't believe it because at the same, Batman needs the Joker as much as the Joker needs Batman. They're two opposites of the same coin.
I get that in the overall arcing story, but what people don't remember is in the Joker's original appearance, the Joker dies.
In the original, but then you find
they
out that
brought him back. They brought him back because he was so compelling.
They brought him back because he was compelling, but also a few years later, Alan Moore wrote in a storyline and basically changed the canon in the sense that the very first Joker that died was not the actual Joker. That started the trend of Joker having doubles that end up dying, but not being the actual him. So Entity did bring up something that's kind of interesting that we didn't talk about. That brings a little bit more into perspective some things. The Texas bill, the guy that created the bill, actually hates anime. He tried to ban Goblin Slayer and a few others years ago.
Really, I did not know that.
I didn't know that, but that's good to know because I'm asking myself why else would you attack the First Amendment? Oh yeah, I don't like anime. Fuck the Japanese.
Well, and in Goblin Slayer, you have the R scenes where the goblins attempt to.
Yeah, he also brought up that another anime that you wouldn't be able to make today.
Inuyasha?
No, Black Lagoon.
Oh, yep, you are correct.
100%. Yeah.
Yep. There's a lot, especially with a bill like this, that's going to change even more.
You couldn't do Sailor Moon with their transformations.
Well, you wouldn't be able to do over half of the anime out there because they're all based in high schools or middle schools.
Yeah.
True. Yeah. But your only saving grace is that the anime is not based off people; they're cats.
Technically.
Yeah.
Technically, they're cats.
Yep. All right, so let's get back on this one. We already knew we were getting some of the X-Men. We didn't know if it was going to be the original X-Men movie crew or if it was going to be the First Class. Well, they answered. We've got Patrick Stewart. We've got Rebecca Romijn back as Mystique. We've got James Marsden coming back as Cyclops. Joseph Quinn as the Human Trees, of course, from the Fantastic Four movie. Channing Tatum coming back as Gambit, I'm all for because his Gambit in Daredevil was his Gambit. God, too many shows to remember, too many D's.
His Gambit was perfect.
His Gambit in Deadpool was perfect. Like that is the Gambit we have all waited to see in a live action since kids. Yep. And shout out to the new thing that I picked up the other day. CGC 9.2 graded first appearance of Gambit.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah. And then we go down the list again, even more. We've got, of course, Paul Rudd, which, I don't dislike Paul Rudd, but yeah, Ant-Man does not need his own movies. It's better in small doses.
He's a support character.
Yeah. Here's my favorite one. Alan Cumming returning as Nightcrawler. He played the perfect fucking Nightcrawler. Not to mention that out of all the X-Men movies, his opening scene of the second film in the White House was literally the best beginning to any of the X-Men films. That showed you how dangerous Nightcrawler is. We got David Harbour, of course, Red Guardian, and then we got, of course, Ghost and U.S. Agent, and all that's going to, again, determine on if frickin' Thunderbolts is good or not. Are we going to care more about these characters, or are they just going to be a bunch of more side characters thrown into shit? Ian McKellen coming back as Magneto. I'm all for. I loved it. Him and Patrick Stewart had a perfect back and forth as Magneto, and them. Not to knock the First Class group, McAvoy and Fassbender had just the same rapport.
Yeah.
So I'm all for either group. We've got Danny Ramirez coming back as Falcon after seeing the Captain America film. He's a forgettable Falcon. I'm sorry.
He is.
Well, the scenes they gave him did nothing to me, but it didn't make me dislike him. It's just more of a
because the scenes they gave him were meant to be him growing into the character.
Yeah. We got Kelsey Grammer coming back as Beast. I'm all for. I loved his Beast. But we already knew he was going to come back as Beast because what was it? At the end of, was it the Marvels? That the person Rambeau jumped into a different dimension, another part of the multiverse, and she's lying on a hospital table, and it's Beast that's looking over at her. That was their introduction to the mutants into the MCU, in a sense. You got Shuri coming back, which we've already kind of talked about. You know, it's her, whoopee-doo. And then you got Huerta coming back as Namor. I don't really care for that because I didn't like his take on Namor anyway. Namor is a character that they could have done so much with, but they basically roped in a storyline that never existed in any of the comics about Namor.
And stripped him down to bare nothing.
Yeah, stripped him down to bare nothing. Took away the history and the power that his people have. They wouldn't allow them to use the word Atlantis at all because of DC using Atlantis.
Exactly.
If we had gotten the Namor that was literally a villain, it would have been a way better film, way better of a story. So I really don't care that he's in it just because I don't care for his Namor. It's not the actor's fault. It's you picked to play on the version of Namor nobody ever heard of, wanted, or gives a shit about.
So what's the take on the RDJ whitewash theory? You heard this one?
No.
No.
So there is a petition out there and basically saying don't whitewash Dr. Doom.
Doom is white. Doom comes from Germany. I'm sorry. It's not supposed to be.
It's
not supposed to be. I'm just saying, it's not supposed to be Germany.
It's Eastern European.
He's a
He's a Cossack.
Yes.
He's a Cossack. He's supposed to be from Latvia, which was literally
Romania.
Yeah, it was basically a country that bordered the boundary of the Romanovs.
Yeah, but there's a literal petition out there to say because he should not be played by a white person that's non-Romani.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Name me. Wait. So are we gonna say the same thing about Brad Pitt in fucking Snatch?
Hold on. He played a hell of a Pikey.
Yeah, that was a good Pikey.
But Pikeys are Romani.
No, not necessarily. Not. Pikeys are not. Pikeys are a different fact. There's a whole live over there and then tell me a Pikey's a Romani. They're not. There's a whole different aspect to that. But you do get Romanis over there.
Fuzzball out.
You do get Romanis over there rolling in old school horse trailers pulled, and
never mind. Okay. Skipping that. Are we then going to take out everybody who played a Romani in the Peaky Blinders? Those were Romani. I'm just saying those were Romani, but those weren't Romani. I know that the dude who played Littlefinger isn't Romani, but he played one in Peaky Blinders. We gonna hold the same candle up to him.
Yeah,
it has to be. How many Romani actors are there? How many Romani actors are there?
There's not a lot. But here's the thing: why is
mask on? It'll be good.
Why is this such an uproar about Robert playing him? And why is a white man doing this? Why is a white man doing this?
I look at it. It's people literally start shit at this point.
I'm sorry.
Hold on real quick. Shark, do me a favor. Check this up real quick. Entity brought up that there's a rumor going around that they're actually going to do a live action Iron Giant.
Ooh, I know they're doing live action Atlantis.
No, because
he actually just brought up that the only true Disney movie I like is Lost City of Atlantis. Lost City of Atlantis was good.
I do want to see a live action of that. I don't know what to do.
Shark. Atlantis would, if done right, would be a decent thing to do live action. I think one, because we're dying for good sci-fi, Titan AE.
Ooh, that would be good.
You know what?
Be good as a live action.
I'm actually with
writer
that.
And the right director.
Yeah,
get
Titan
the same.
is probably one of my favorites, just period. And I hate that it got pushed down into the depths of history and it's not brought up more. It was
it came out around the same time as Treasure Planet.
Yeah, that was a great one. That was underrated as hell.
Yeah.
So AI answer via Google is saying yes, there is a remake, and that live action remake of Iron Giant with Vin Diesel reprising his role as the voice of the robot.
As the voice. Okay.
And Jennifer Aniston returning as Annie Hughes. And it's saying August of 2025.
All right, expand on it. Look a little deeper. Find out who's directing, producing, what studio. Because that's going to be your make or break, and who's writing it is going to make or break it. I'm not for them doing it, but if they're going to do it, hopefully they've got, a good crew behind it. But then again, that may not mean shit because
I don't mind it.
There's just crew and halfway through the director pop out. So
there's a level of scale that they're going to have to miss because it's going to be live action.
So this is looking, I'm not seeing anything set in stone on this.
Hold on, real quick. Entity said something about, he said, no, you could do Sailor Moon, just look at the new anime gushing over magical girls. Well, they could, but again, we're talking about the age bracket. They would have to literally state in the show that they're all 18 or above to negate the way the law is worded.
Correct. Because, with their transitions being semi-nude or nude-ish, that would totally negate it if they're under 18.
Well, it's easy. Yep. Instead of in a high school, they put them in a college. There you go. So problem solved.
There you go. So I'm not seeing anything solid on
all
this
these shows are going to be like, Dan to Dan is not a high school. It's now a they're going to go in and rewrite over everything. It's a high school, college, university.
It's no longer high school DxD. It's college DxD.
But part of the writing and part of the stuff is basically the coming of age.
Well, yeah, because almost all anime is literally supposed to be their way of teaching the youth lessons.
Yes. So when you start taking out the coming of age, then it's just creepy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, adults should have already known this shit by this time frame in their life. Hopefully.
Right?
Shark, so what did you find?
So I'm not finding anything solid on this. I'm seeing a lot of rumor. I'm seeing a lot of dream ideas. Yeah, nothing solid.
Okay, so that answered the TNT. So far right now, it looks like the Iron Giant is just kind of a rumor-based stuff going around. Because more than likely, if it was anything in a set of planning or continuing to something that could possibly come to fruition, we would at least already actually see a studio attachment or a post-production writer attachment or at least a producer, because that's where the money comes from.
Yeah, no official announcement on this, rumors only.
Well, in that case, do we want to talk about Nintendo?
No, let's get to that in a second here. So Entity basically also asked, who remembers High School of the Dead?
I do.
They're getting to some older ones there.
Bro, Inuyasha is a problem.
Yeah.
Dude, almost all of them have at least one scene, one segment, one little thing that literally could be brought up and be trouble.
Every single one has a Hot Springs episode.
Yeah.
Sword Art Online.
Oh god, SAO. Oh yeah.
SAO would be big.
R scenes in that.
Oh shit. The transformation scene from after being manipulated from the dragon in Delicious in Dungeon would be a problem with the sister.
Yes.
Dude, there's so many of God. There's like, and yeah, half of them, it's like a 10 or 15 second little bit of from it that would literally fuck them in this shit.
Eliminates the entire thing. Yeah.
Heck,
this
Fairly Odd Parents.
This was literally a bill worded by an asshole that hates anime. Because everything we could think of that they could skip it, this bill, literally as vague as it is, was very specific on everything we just talked about.
Yeah.
All the way down to literally
Dragon Ball Z.
2 or 5 second.
Yeah, well,
Dragon Ball Z.
I don't know if you saw the
page
picture
we just put as the thumbnail.
Yeah,
you haven't seen
thumbnail
it
I
yet,
created.
Paul, but even the thumbnail would get us ixnayed.
Yeah.
Jeez. Hey, yeah. Oh, yeah. We've had big discussions about Evangelion. That's like, that's like a staple show.
Oh,
hell,
shit.
They're coming out with a new
Evangelion,
one.
Gundam?
Or they're coming out with a continuation of the story in Evangelion, right? There's something
Yes.
new coming out. Yeah.
But Gundam,
yeah.
Macross,
Oh, Jesus Christ. Even G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
don't worry about me, Shipwreck. I'm an orphan.
Oh, God. Dude, the dubs on that were so bad. I went back and watched a few episodes a while back just because I was feeling nostalgic.
Here you go,
And I'm like,
Ball.
wait a minute. That's him talking. Why is his mouth with the... What the fuck? Who dubbed this?
It pop this up so 8 Ball can see it since he didn't see it earlier. Our thumbnail that I created for the episode.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, Cowboy
When I
Bebop.
brought this up,
Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, all of them are a problem.
Well, NTD brought up Bebop is another. Literally, we would probably have a harder time finding an anime that wouldn't meet some of this criteria somehow.
Yeah.
Because everyone I'm running through my head would literally be ixed. Everything I can think of a scene, huh?
Gate. Gate's the only one that wouldn't have a problem. It's the Japanese self-defense force. It goes into the fantasy land, and everybody in the fantasy land that's dealing with them is an adult.
I mean, heck, you start going in. Let's start going to other things. Heavy metal would get next.
Well, yeah, heavy metal was all about sex. That's all
but
that
once
thing
again,
was. I mean, there's a reason why when you went to for the longest time, Blockbuster didn't have it, and Hollywood Video had it back in the 18 and up section. It was basically with the porn.
Yep.
Well, and even like this I've got on back here. There's a kissing scene. Does that qualify? Does that become lewd?
Bad of sins.
Yes, because it's vague. Because the wording is vague enough to let it be. That's why I say somebody has to sue them to have them come up with a definition of what is each thing.
Yeah, this is going to be a mess. That whole thing is just going to be one big fucking mess. And yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Entity. I'm going to look more into that because, yeah, now that I'm thinking about the way it's worded after reading it earlier today, the way it is worded, this was literally could be easily interpreted without question of being a malicious attempt. Because thinking of how vague everything that's vague, intentionally put as vague, everything that we're thinking of right now that would meet its criteria was not vague.
Exactly.
And if you think about it, it is not
fucking Voltron.
It is not really specific to AI. They used AI as their talking head point because they already know half the old fucks up there don't really understand AI at all, and they're terrified of it. They don't realize AI is only as smart as the people that are programming it, and most of them are dumber than shit. Just look at some of the shit it comes up with. It's going to be decades before it gets to, Skynet level, if it ever does. But
it will because people keep forgetting Transformers.
Well, yeah, but the animation end of it was not vague.
Who was he saying that wrote the bill that was the anime hater? I want to try to see if I can grab some of that info.
Well, it would be whoever created you can research who created the bill.
Well, that's the thing. All I'm finding right now is the sponsors. I'm not seeing who wrote it.
Yeah, you may have to do some digging.
Yeah.
Yeah, also the bill is so vague, it doesn't matter if the character is underage. They also have to look young. They only have to look young. Yeah. No, we brought that up earlier in a little bit that, it's so, it's a mess.
And that takes out 7 Deadly Sins, Meiji.
That takes Freerin out.
Freerin's
1,000 years old, but, she looks like she's 17 maybe. 16,
yeah,
17.
that horrible one you made me watch is instantly out too. Yeah, Dance in the Vampire Bun.
Yeah. Oh, that's way out.
Yeah.
Shit, Vampire Hunter D.
Yeah.
Blood would be out too.
Yep.
Blood's definitely out. Ninja Scroll.
Yep.
Yeah. Fuck, under that terminology, even Kaiju
Ranma.
Even Kaiju 8's not safe.
Yeah. Like I said, Ranma.
Yep.
Jesus Christ, even here,
Yu Yu
Academia is not
Hakusho.
safe.
Yeah.
Hero Academia is immediate eliminate.
Literally,
because that's not a college.
Ghost in a Shell.
The entire category.
Crap
is
me,
like
even
live.
goddamn One Punch is in that list now.
Yeah.
Yes, because of what's her name?
Yeah,
With the green hair.
The tornado.
Witchblade. Yeah, the list just goes on and on.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's saying the Gnome Gate would be a target because of Rory, the goth character in the show, as well. Yeah, the way they worded it, it opens up to every one of them. Like I said, we would have a harder time finding a show that wouldn't meet the criteria of that bill now.
Well, maybe
That's
Slam
the only
Dunk.
one.
Slam Dunk.
No, Slam Dunk. They're in high school.
Yeah, but there's no. Trying to find a PC word.
No crossing of the lines, basically.
Yeah, there you go.
What's the one with the dude who becomes a boxer?
Megalobox?
Or are you talking what is it? Baku?
Yeah.
Baka?
Baki.
Baki, yes.
Baki's out.
Baki's definitely out. No, there was another one. It's an older anime. I just can't remember what the name of it is.
I literally Star.
No, shit, that's out.
Yeah, that's gone.
Well, any of the 70s and 80s ones are instantly out.
It. The Daily Life of Middle-Aged Online Shopper in Another World.
How about Kill La Kill?
Yeah.
Gone.
Oh.
So, well, actually, as of right now, one that would not meet their criteria because it doesn't have anything that crosses any type of line would be Sakamoto Days. As of right now.
Yeah.
What is it? The Life of Evil Tanya.
Yeah, that's a mess.
Yeah, but even things like Your Name would be gone.
Jeez. Yeah, this is definitely, like we said, people use the reach out, start calling, start emailing, start mailing, go to your local offices. Definitely do not let this continue. If enough voice and enough opposition is heard, they have to bring it back to the floor. And if these people get any idea that this is big enough to affect their positions, they'll cave and recall it. They're not going to
shit,
risk.
Helsing?
Gone.
Yeah, Helsing's. He's like, yeah, he's listening. If he's like High School Fleet, Girls with Panzer.
Girls with Panzer. I love that show. If you haven't seen the abridged, look up the abridged on YouTube. It only goes up to I think episode 5, but it's still pretty good.
Heck, Kiki's Delivery Service might get canned by that.
Howl's Moving Castle.
I was thinking about Howl's. I'm not sure it'd get canned.
It's been a while, so long since I've watched. I'm trying to think.
Remember, it's vague on offense.
Yeah, but nothing. There's nothing of a nature in there.
In this castle, doing these weird things.
Well, no, but it does say it has to be of a nature.
Out of the same studio, I just thought of one that wouldn't get shit canned. Totoro. It's too kid and light friendly. It's literally like it's a kid show.
Yeah.
In its core, it is literally innocence in its core.
Yeah.
And he's saying, I love military anime.
Yeah.
All right. So let's move on to what do you got, Walrus?
Let's see here. I want to talk about Nintendo. I want to talk about their live action of Zelda.
Serge look on his face and everything. Oh, Space Battleship Yamamoto. I haven't watched that in a while. That was a good one.
All of those are gone because all of those at some point basically go into child soldiers saving the day.
Mm-hmm.
Captain Harlock's another one. All right, what do you got, Walrus?
But as far as Nintendo with live action movies and stuff like that, I have to see who they're casting.
All right, Shark, can you bring up whatever they got out there for that on right now? Because
that's what I'm working on right now.
And the only reason I say that is because you can do a live action Zelda And you can do it really well. You can do it badly and still do a pretty good job of it if you hold a little bit, if you hold true to the.
What saves the grace of it and gives it any leeway or footing to try to actually be decent is the fact that if you think about it, to its core, the primary Zelda games that built the franchise, not the new, more 3D ones, but the original games, you don't have any voice for any of the characters. So you're not landlocked to an idea in your head of what they fully look like or sound like.
Or what they sound like,
Only the two newer games really kind of give you that. And not even at a point to it's built. When people think Zelda, I still think of the 8-bit. That's the first thing that pops in my fucking head. And maybe the way they made Zelda look in the first Smash Brothers. But that's it.
So either way you can do. Oh, by the way, they should cast Michelle Rodriguez as Zelda.
Yeah, because that's something that
he brought up another one, Ear Near Automata.
No.
Oh yeah, that's
it before we know any more. Let's say who would actually make this good, because I think it has the chance of being a really good fan-based movie franchise.
But to start, which storyline do you do? Which one do you really pick? I mean,
just do the first one.
You can't you can't do the first one because the diehards, like people of our age, are going to be the only ones that really know that one. The big thing keeping Zelda alive.
That's what I'm saying.
Let's just face it right now. When it comes to Zelda, what is keeping Zelda a franchise alive right now is what the fuck is the one that everybody played the living hell out of recently?
Time.
Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild's an Ocarina of Time.
Yeah. Because you can do all the crazy stuff.
For us, our money. They're going to make it for the kids that
but
are
what I'm
20
saying,
and under playing that game.
What I'm saying is because they've already seen that portion of the game. If you bring out the first one, as the first movie, or you do it as a show even, and you bring out the first one as the first bit of the story leading into those things, they'll stay. It'll make the money. They'll stay. They'll pay attention to it, and they'll go back to play the other games.
Well, let's first, before we dig into a deeper one, Shark, tell us what you found on that, and at the same time, Entity just brought up something that I'm not aware of, and it would be interesting news if it actually is happening. Did Nintendo lose the lawsuit against Palworld?
Oh, I didn't even know that was still going on.
I forgot. Well, I thought it was still ongoing, but if it has actually ended and Nintendo lost, that's a first. Normally, Nintendo wins solely by dragging it out to oblivion and bleeding you dry.
Yeah, just because
WWE learned from them.
There is a quick one on that one. There's a Reddit post listing that the patent office rejected 22 out of 23 patent claims against Palworld.
That means they only have one left standing then. If that's true, okay, so if that's true, Entity, that doesn't mean that Nintendo lost. But Power hasn't won either, because that one, if it's big enough, like say Pikachu, could fuck you up to pooper bad. Especially if they can prove financial loss. Especially because of how big Palworld got and is, and how fast it got as big as it did, and on top of how big of a money machine Poke is.
So I've got Games Radar up right now. It's saying that last September, Nintendo and the Pokemon Company filed a patent infringement lawsuit against Pocket Pair, which I guess is the Palworld people. But they filed it in Japan. Pocket Pair later revealed that it was alleged to have infringed upon 3 patents, which all to appear cover certain game mechanics. So the Pokeball style catching mechanic.
Yeah, and I was aware of that one.
Yeah. Official updates on the lawsuit from Pocket Pair and Nintendo have been quiet. And Nintendo appears to be busy behind the scenes with patents in the US, and also seems to have described Pokeball throwing action. So,
well, I mean, there's plenty of games out there that copy similar mechanics.
But what they're talking about is the specifics of tossing out a ball to catch a creature. That's Pokemon to its core.
Go look at Zenith the Last City. It's a VR game. It does exactly that.
Yeah, but the difference is Palworld Power World is too big of a... Power World toted the line of being too close to the other.
Yep.
All the way down to its premise and everything. The only difference is you also have weapons in it. That's it.
Yeah, it looks like they're because they're not getting as far as they want in Japan. They're coming to the U.S. to file, hoping they're going to do a little better over here.
Yeah. So to answer, Entity, there is definitely some changes that did go on Power World's side, but yeah, that fight is not over yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now for Zelda,
let's continue with Zelda.
Go ahead and throw up on the screen there, and I'll show you what I found. There is a live action trailer here that is found, and what you're seeing in this picture here is the trailer. The only difference is the 8-bit Zelda music playing over this. So
when did the trailer drop, though, is the question? Because I'm seeing, they're saying that this was announced in 2023.
Yep, November.
Series creator and acclaimed game developer Shigeru Miyamoto is producer on the project. Avi Arad?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Avi Arad is actually a damn good director and producer. I mean, the only thing that he really kind of fucked up on, well, I can only think of like one project. I mean, the better Tom Holland Spider-Man movies were his.
Yeah.
So they do have a powerhouse behind it. I mean, it's... Yeah, let's watch what this thing shows.
So I'm not sure. I don't want to get hit for this sound.
Mute the music.
Mute it.
Yes.
Well,
Nintendo
okay.
does not attack you for images, but for music, they will crucify us.
So that's what I'm saying is the only difference between what we're currently seeing there in that still image, and the rest of it is the sound.
Don't play it. Just put the link in chat.
So this is the whole trailer right here. You're looking at it.
No, go ahead and play the trailer. Just mute it. But double standard, I'll mute the audio on the link too.
That's what I'm saying. The only difference is this. And the sound is the 8-bit Zelda sound.
So we basically have no stills. We have no idea
Nothing. This is it.
How it's going to look.
Okay.
Scroll
that's
down
your
a
whole
little
thing.
bit. See what it says anymore. Legend of Zelda isn't the first. Okay, so they go off on properties, release dates. You know it's going to make or break a Zelda film coming out, right? How shitty Minecraft. How shitty Minecraft does.
Minecraft will not. Look, I'm telling you right now, and I know how this sounds. Minecraft will not have an effect on a Zelda movie.
No, I don't think so either.
It will not have an effect on Zelda being made or not. Where it will affect, and all these movies of these natures do, is distributors. How big of an opening spot are they going to give it? Right now, distributors in general, when it comes to anything video game related, have never ever liked them. That's why most video game movies, other than Resident Evil, and the only reason Resident Evil got traction is I think somebody really didn't realize it was from a video game. They saw Mila Jovovich, big action, blood, yada yada, and it fell through the cracks and it got a shot. But for most video game movies, that's why most of them do not get, 50 fucking theaters. They get 200 if they're lucky.
I mean, Mario.
He goes. Okay.
Mario did really well.
Entity goes. I'm calling it now. They're going to race swap Zelda.
I told you, I told you, Michelle Rodriguez.
Nah, man, they're going to show the first trailer, and it's going to be Zelda in Compton, and he's going to kick the door of the cave open, and all you're going to hear is.
Oh wait, no. I see it now. I see it now because he did sell his soul. Kevin Hart is Link.
Lucky bastard.
Oh God! Hey! I will give. All right, I will say this: Kevin Hart, if they did race swap, would be better pick for Zelda than he was for Ronan in fucking Borderlands, considering Zelda's a short motherfucker.
You're talking about Link.
Hold on. You're talking about Link. Zelda's a princess.
I mean, yeah, I know, but I'm saying the movie in general as Link, yeah. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no,
the character is small.
I'm talking about if you're going to do that, go ahead and let Kevin Hart be Link.
I mean, Entity already called out who's going to be Zelda.
Entity already called out who's going to be Zelda.
Entity already called out who's going to be Zelda. Entity already called out who's going to be Zelda. Entity already called out who's going to be Zelda.
Who?
Zendaya. They put that girl in fucking everything. She's
Fair.
not a bad actress, but I'm getting kind of
Does that
burned
make
out of
Tom
seeing her in
Holland?
everything.
Does that make Tom Holland Link?
No, because Link is permanently in the friend zone with Zelda.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
Tom at least is hitting that, thankfully.
Which means they'll grab what's that one dude? Timothy something or another.
Timothy Chalamet?
Chalamet, the one from Dune? Yeah. That's
Yeah.
Chalamet.
No, wait. No, we just have to go straight and put Maverick there. Short
Tom
King
Cruise?
for the win.
Yeah,
Tom
for the win.
Cruise?
Yeah, but then you have to get to him to agree to be in a film where he's not wearing his foot-high platformers.
Look, if we're talking about short kings, Peter Dinklage.
Link.
Yes. I mean, if we're just gonna go for it, let's go for it.
Oh, wait, then who's gonna play the Pixie?
Where are you going, man?
I gotta go. There's somebody at the door. Give me 1 second.
Okay. Right, I'm cutting out so we don't hear the Mac. Yeah, freaking 90 degrees with Peter Dinklage's Link. Oh man. No, if they do make it, this is going to be another one to like. We're probably going to be laughing. Who knows? Maybe they may shock us. They may come out with the casting, and we're all just sitting here like.
I want to
okay,
be
I can
hopeful
see
for
that.
it. I really want to be hopeful for this one. I mean, there's some of them, like a bunch of the Disney remakes. It's like, come on, let it die.
Well, even
let it
if
be.
it's not just not the Disney remakes, it's literally I cannot off the top of my head in the last 8 years think of a video game adaptation movie that was actually decent.
I think the closest thing was Ready Player One.
No, that was nowhere near the books.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
not even
Yeah.
close.
It was a good movie, but it was nostalgia bait movie that made it good. There was so
Yeah.
much in that no matter
Well,
what
if we were
generation
talking
you were,
Iron
you could see
Giant,
stuff.
If we're talking of the closest live action Iron Giant that we've seen, it was there.
Yeah.
No, that Iron Giant was awesome.
Yeah. No, there was a lot in that was freaking awesome. I mean, it's a great movie. It's just it doesn't hold does not hold a candle to its source material, sadly.
No.
Now that could change depending the amount of shit they throw in the second one if they ever do make the second one.
I don't think they could correct it enough.
Not enough. Yeah, not enough to be amazing, but enough to bring in some of what should have been in one. They could find a smart way through working to retcon it in. But yeah, think about it right now between the three of us, because he's out right now. I cannot think of in the last 8 years a video game to. You might want to bring your dog up. That did not look good from this angle.
Come here, buddy. Come here.
Yes, people, he has a pet that was not what it looked like. Yes, there's our once a stream Jack.
Hey, just because you say that it was a pet doesn't make it any better.
Yeah, his emotional support scruff. But yeah, no, I can't think of a made to specifically a video game made to movie that was good. Like there have been some that I wouldn't say were as bad that they weren't entertaining, but I cannot think of one in that time frame that I was like, "Fuck yeah, I want to watch that again."
Does it have to be a movie?
So
yeah, because that's kind of what we're going at is a video game to movie adaptation.
all right, so
I would caveat saying that the Last of Us TV show.
Well, that's a TV show. That's different.
Silent Hill.
Hold on, I don't count TV shows in those categories because TV shows. There should be no excuse it isn't good because you have the time to stretch it out and do it good. Hold on, where you said yeah, Entity, you are kind of right on that. I'm not going to read that out loud just because I can get Gus in trouble mentioning those names. But yeah, a lot of that stuff, thankfully, is changing, hopefully faster than more. But considering the power and influence of both of those companies, it's, yeah.
The only one I can think of, the Resident Evil, the original one, was pretty good.
But yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's why I said 8 years, because if you go back 10, you could find some that were decent. Like I did enjoy the first Silent Hill film. I was not
Okay,
a
so let's
diehard of the
go.
fans. I know the diehards had some issues, but from the basis of just being creepy, bringing in some of the characters from the game that the few times I played the game were freaky as fuck, and you heard the dragging of that sword, you wanted to get the fuck out of that area fast.
So I'll go from 2015 to now.
Okay.
We got Hitman.
Which was entertaining, but it wasn't good. There was
Warcraft
so much of the games that were left out of that.
Yeah,
Assassin's
Warcraft,
Creed.
Huh?
Assassin's
that-
Creed. Yeah, so that Assassin's Creed was 2016.
Again, Assassin's Creed was, in my opinion, good in a sense that it was entertaining, but
it wasn't great.
It could have been done in 2 films and been great, but they sped in a sense, the entire knowledge of the Templars and the Adamus and all of that took 2 to 3 games to bring it all together of what they tried to cram into one damn movie.
Well,
Oh,
and
wow.
I feel the same way about
Entity
Warcraft.
said Silent Hill is either getting a new anime or a live action down the. It wouldn't shock me. They've got the new game coming, so they're gonna ride that train because that's a franchise that anytime the games come out, everybody goes back and plays the first 2, and of course they're gonna watch that first film. I mean, it's a great premise of a game, and the movie really captured the eeriness and the psychoness of the religious cult that basically brought that hell on themselves.
So 2017, we got the final chapter of Resident Evil. Then we got the new Tomb Raider series.
Yeah,
Rampage.
Rampage was horrible. The way
It really was.
It was never even a big video game. It was a game you played because it was one of the few that allowed you to allow 4 people to play at once. That's the only reason it was famous. It was actually never that great of a game. Hold on real quick. Okay. Entity brought up, he said his favorite Assassin's Creed is Black Flag.
That was a good one.
I'm going to stay out of this discussion because, so you can see it, Entity, I'm kind of biased about Black Flag. That game got me, that and Destiny 1 got me through a very, very, very fucking dark time in my life, just absorbing myself. I think got, no bullshit aside, 87% complete on Black Flag. But it literally took years to do that. And then they added more to it, and it dropped down even more. And I was like, I have a life now. I can't invest in actually 100%ing this thing.
So now that 8 Ball's back, we can touch back on how a Romanian's gonna play Blade in the upcoming movie.
A what? There ain't no Blade movie. Blade's dead. Oh, especially thanks to Deadpool. Unless they bring Snipes back, Blade ain't happening.
Exactly.
He proved that by just showing up in that movie. I love that line. There's only been one Blade. Only gonna be one fucking Blade. Because he's right. He was Blade. I mean, the only thing that kind of ruined the franchise was the third film just got a little. It wasn't what the first 2 were. That, and I'm sorry, they should not have killed Whisker. They should not have killed Whistler.
You got to
Whistler in the
unmute
comics
James.
was there forever. Oh yeah, I forgot. Sorry, James. We did
Yeah,
that.
the
We did that
films-
because of your headphone thing. You're back on now.
Oh, I was muted.
Oh, hold on real quick. Which Rampage, the ape one or the independent movie where a guy went? No. The Rampage we're talking about was the one with Dwayne.
The Rock.
God damn it! Quit doing that. warn us, please. It's
Sorry.
like nails on chalkboard.
I
I'm getting
apologize.
Flashbacks from
He's-
middle school and the ruler across my back.
He's talking about the one where the dude goes on the mass shooting spree, which
Yeah, no, we're
was
not
like
talking
an independent film. No,
Yeah, no.
No, we're talking about the
bear
Rock.
in mind, the Rampage with the samurai armor killing spree for an indie film was really damn good and would have actually gained more traction, except it was way too close to Columbine, and that pissed a lot of people off.
Yeah.
But no, the one we're talking about was the one with the ape and all the animals, and was based off of an arcade machine. That the only reason it was popular is because it was the only game that allowed 4 people to play at the same damn time.
Well, no, that wasn't the only one, because there was the racing game that had 4, and then you also had the
But in most
Legends?
it was very hard to find an arcade back in the day that didn't have Rampage. Those other ones, you could find
That's
ones
true.
that didn't. Rampage was everywhere. Because wasn't Rampage a Konami?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So
And
we're talking about the ape one. Well, we were talking about the ape one.
And that came out in 2018. So
yeah.
After that, we got Dead Trigger, Pokemon Detective Pikachu, Sonic, Monster Hunter.
What year was Pikachu?
Pikachu was 2019.
Okay, then I take that back. There was actually a decent one in 8 years. I enjoyed it. It was fun.
It grossed 433
I gotta love a
mil.
Pikachu that's sucking down espresso, so I'm kind of biased.
Oh wait,
Monster Hunter wasn't that bad.
I didn't even know Monster Hunter came out.
I couldn't get through the first 30. I made it through 30 minutes of Monster Hunter. I don't know. I think it would have done better if they had not used Jovovich. People know her too much from Resident Evil.
Fair. But it was a video game movie, so
Pikachu did really well worldwide.
Well, yeah, because it's Pikachu.
433
and it was a
billion?
good story. Yeah, it was a good story.
So then we have Mortal Kombat, the 2021 Mortal Kombat.
Again,
that was not a good movie.
Entertaining but not good.
Correct. Entertaining but not good.
And the only reason it did decently good is we were what year was it?
21.
So yeah, we were in the height of COVID. We had lack of options.
The Werewolves Within. I don't know what game that was based off of.
Werewolves Within.
Hold on real quick. You had an arcade machine near your dentist that had Snoopy versus the Red Baron. I haven't seen that machine in forever.
Oh God!
Oh my God!
Dude, that's a machine I would actually add. Like if I won the lottery, that I'd have in a room. Now that I think about, I forgot about that game. Wow.
Okay, if I hit the lottery and I actually had a game room, I would want that. I would want Afterburner.
Afterburner,
the
yes.
actual one that you got the
full motion rig one.
And there was a tank one, and I just can't remember the name of the. I can't remember the name of the game itself.
Are you talking the tank one where you're actually looking through the viewfinder and moving the sticks forward, doing the split?
Yeah.
Oh fuck! What was the name of that?
This is a perfect time to talk about our
Atari Battle Zone. It was Atari Battle Zone.
Yeah.
You know which one? You got to add in the first really good shooter gun game that actually came out, Operation Wolf.
I want that sniper one,
but I'm also
back in the day.
I want the sniper one because it was at the rec center by boot camp.
I can name one you're gonna want the minute I name it. The original big screen wraparound, Turtles in Time.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I'll take as a second. I'll take the Simpsons.
Time Crisis.
Simpsons. Time Crisis. That's the first one though.
Time Crisis, but I want it modified. I want the arcade, but I want it modified so I can play any of the Time Crises.
You know, another one that's fun to have that especially if you have a lot of friends over that are drinking, that would play the hell out of the original Crazy Taxi.
Yeah.
Ooh, Crazy Taxi.
Whole soundtrack done by The Offspring.
Yep.
Well, technically, it was half done by The Offspring, and the other half was NoFX.
Yeah.
Oh,
all right. Man. So what we ended with what? Mortal Kombat. We only got a few more. Let me run through these real quick. The Werewolves Within, Resident Evil, Welcome to Raccoon City.
Ooh, that was
then
that one was horrible. Sadly, it looked good, but yeah, that script was bad.
Then you've got Uncharted in 2022. Sonic
that wasn't
2.
that bad.
Uncharted wasn't bad, but I can't make a comment on it because I was never familiar with the games.
Uncharted was a good game.
I would put it in the same category as it was a good movie for it just being entertaining. But if you backed it up with the game, it was like, it doesn't quite hit the mark.
Well, you have the animated Tomb Raider that came out like, what, 2 years ago? No, like a year ago.
Yeah, it was about a year ago. I remember because everybody had their take and spin on it, and so many people were unhappy about it just because of the way they kind of drew her.
Yeah. Then after Uncharted, you got Sonic 2.
Go figure. All the women creators I know were the ones that were bitching that she didn't have the booty and
big
tatas. Instead, they made her look anorexic.
Where's her Cybertruck boobs?
Oh, wow. Okay. That's one I had thought of. Mech Warrior Assault Lone Wolf 2.
Oh God, Mech Warrior.
Mech Warrior.
Yeah.
Yes. All day. All day. All right. So here's upcomings. I've got a list of upcoming game to movie pushovers. 2025 we got Minecraft movie, which we know.
Yep.
We have Until Dawn coming out in 2025.
Until
Matter of fact,
Dawn
next
looks
month.
promising, actually. That one, they've been really quiet on it, but the few things they've showed, it
Have been really cool,
It
yeah.
has some legs to it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Hold on, real
So
quick.
that's coming out next
he's
month.
just naming it. Yeah, Battlefield, Bad Company 2 was a good game.
That was that wasn't arcade though.
No. I want Soul Calibur.
Yes, the original Soul, the one where you had multiple characters and the battle pushed back and forth.
No, if you want Soul Calibur that way, the best version, you don't get an arcade. You go old school and buy you a Neo Geo.
No, I'm just saying, like, if we're talking about the arcade machines that you would want to get, I would want the Soul Calibur on that.
The Soul Calibur,
I also want NFL
had
Blitz.
Every single character that every other American variation finally released.
Ours would be the Dreamcast, not the Neo Geo.
I mean, you're not
the
wrong.
First Soul Calibur was on Neo Geo,
but it wasn't that good. It was perfected more during Dreamcast.
Go back and look.
And smoothness, it was way
you
better.
Know what I want for, no, you know what fight game I want from Dreamcast that everybody
system costed $2,000 when it came out. Everybody stole the processors and the chipsets from it. The only thing that made the Dreamcast a better machine was the updatability due to the fact that the Dreamcast was the first machine that allowed networking. You could hook it to the internet.
He is not wrong about that. You know what Dreamcast fight game I would like to see brought back and redone? Rival Schools.
You know which one I want? Because I still have my Dreamcast and my memory card with all the saves on it and the game. The Spawn fighting game. Remastered with today's graphics would be badass.
I'm with that.
Yeah, I'm still a fan of.
Yeah, Entity. I think everybody in this room remembers that. That game was a game changer when it came out. Jet Set Radio.
Yes.
Oh wow, yeah.
Dude, almost every game out there stole the idea of being able to glide and run across walls because of that.
Yep.
Not to mention the art style.
Huh? That was a Dreamcast.
Okay. I'm gonna ask this question in this way. You get 2 games that you would want to see made as a movie or limited series. It doesn't matter which, but what 2 games would you do? And I'll go first. I'm going to go one first. Streets of Rage.
Okay. Mine, I'm
trying to remember.
I'm trying to remember the name of the game because there were 2 different variations.
What was the plot?
You're in Seattle and you're fighting against a corporation. You gain powers, and you have a choice to actually be good or evil during the game.
Oh, not Fable. You're talking about the one where you get the telekinetic powers?
Infamous.
Yeah.
Yep. The second one, not the first game. The second one. The one we were playing. That would
I
make
was
an
literally
amazing
looking that
TV
up.
show.
Great.
Not a movie, but a TV show or a limited series. That would make an amazing one.
Yeah, I was already looking that up for my pick, and then you were saying that.
I was trying to remember the name of it. There was an Xbox game that I absolutely loved, and it was a very low-key game. It was called Red Ninja End of Honor.
Oh, that was a good one.
Yes.
That would make
a great show.
Yeah. All right, I will do actually just 2 more because both I think deserve to be mentioned. I think another one that would make an amazing TV show, the entire Shenmue series.
Killzone.
Okay. Another one that would make a good couple of movies because there's a couple of games. Dead Space.
Yeah.
I do like the animated movies that they have made so far.
Entity brought up one that would actually make a badass TV show, and it wouldn't be too hard to pull off.
House of the Dead.
Ghost Recon.
Yeah.
So I'm
you could actually do
I
that
mean, wasn't
entire
that-
series. All of
Wasn't
the
that
newer
based
games.
off Clancy's? Wasn't that based off?
No,
Clancy's
they were
book?
all the Clancy series.
That's what I
Yeah,
thought.
no, but if you're gonna do that, then Army of Two.
Dude, Army of Two would be badass. And that's a discussion right there. Who would play Rios and the other guy? Who would be perfect castings?
Oh no, I already know exactly who I'd cast in it because it would be terrible.
Rios and Vargas, right?
Yeah, I know exactly who I would cast there because it would be the most terrible duo, but it'd also be the best looking.
Okay.
The Rock and Kevin Hart.
Nah. Think about the nationalities of Rios and Vargas.
I'm not. Again, they can be Haitian. They can be.
I got one for you.
Vargas can be Puerto Rican.
I got one for you because one's skinny and one's big, right? And
Yeah.
if you want comedy and you want them to be nasty and you want them to have fun and work off of each other, I got two for you. Dave Bautista and John Leguizamo.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay. You know what would really make actually a pretty good show, and it's because the storyline's already built, and if they just stuck to the source material, Call of Duty would make an excellent effing movie.
Yeah.
If
No,
they stuck to the storyline.
I'd want to see it as a series because they need to parse some of it out.
And
No, I completely agree.
Entity in chat just brought up two. He said Mercenaries would be another one, which is good because military ones would be the easy ones. But the one he just brought up, if they did the fourth game, they already have the actor because he did the mocap and the voice. Just Cause, because Just Cause 4, the main villain is Juan Carlo Esposito.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's talked about how much he loved playing that role and wants to come back.
Well, the biggest mistake Hollywood and video games ever made was not doing anything live action in the Grand Theft Auto world and making another Grand Theft Auto game with Leota when he was alive because he loved playing Tommy Vercetti. And he even said it at the Game Awards, I will always come back to play Tommy if they will ask.
Now, I think my pick, because I've said it basically since forever, and y'all gonna hate me for it, Star Wars Jedi Knight Academy 2.
No, I'm not going to hate you for that. I think that they should go into the extended universe of Star Wars to make movies and stuff like that.
8-Ball and I talked about this in the last podcast that it would be perfect because you already have Cameron Monaghan that could come in as Cal Kestis.
Yeah.
What about Max Payne?
If you ever wanted to do Star Killer as the later version of Star Killer, Sam Witwer would do it in a fucking heartbeat. You want to talk about a guy who needs to be brought in to write the shit for Star Wars. Sam Witwer is literally like an encyclopedia that damn near puts Filoni to shame. He's even corrected Filoni a couple of times in interviews about Star Wars shit that Filoni got wrong. You put Sam Witwer and Favreau in a room, they could save Star Wars, honestly.
Yeah, I heard what you said about Max Payne, and the issue is you want to I mean,
do it as a 3-part miniseries. For all I care.
Max Payne should have been a show that you could have dragged out the crime noir aspect and the supernatural aspect into it if done right. What ruins it is the fact that you now have the stain of the movie. The only thing the movie did good was the bullet time mechanics. That's it. As for the story and everything else, it was atrocious.
That's what I'm saying. Just do a complete wipe and redo it from scratch.
I mean, you can. There's been enough time.
Entity, I actually do remember that one. That was actually a pretty decent game. He's talking about asking us who remembers the OG Xbox game Star Wars Republic Commando.
That was a great game.
That was a damn good game.
But you kind of have that covered with Bad Batch.
True.
Which is why you need one to follow the alpha arcs. I will die on that hill.
You need to give people, when it comes to games made for Star Wars that people have wanted, and they still, even the people that hate Star Wars are still saying, give it to us, is Knights of the Old Republic, and not in a stupid form like the fucking Acolyte.
I'm gonna say the controversial, animate it. Don't do anything live action with it. Do Knights of the Old Republic. Do it animated.
Do a
Bring in
Clone
the
Wars
voice
style.
actors.
Yeah, do a Clone Wars
Yeah.
style. Now, however, if
2003
you did do the older Star Wars stories like we've talked about before, the perfect pick for Revan is Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks like it. The one I've been trying to rack my brain is who would make a good, if you went all the way back to the beginning, the immortal bad guy from the game, the Sith Lord. I can't think of his name right
because of how
What'd
he
you say,
is,
Walrus?
his
Plagueis?
No. We're talking
No,
older
not
than
Plagueis.
Oh,
Not Plagueis. It's the dude who looks almost like he's a bunch of worms put together. Not the night guy from. No, I know who you're talking about. It's the one that was. It's the one that was immortal, and he ended.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he ends up dying because he turns himself into the Force Bomb.
Yeah. Yeah, but he survived for centuries, literally feeding off of the life force of others. He found out that he could drain the force from others to make himself immortal. What was his name? Shark, can you look that up? Who was the main antagonist in Knights of the Old Republic?
Was it Marco Ragnos?
No, this was I think it was like, start with a V or a D.
Darth Malik?
No. Malik was a few years later.
I mean, Darth ended up resurrecting the thought bomb, but he wasn't the one that invented it or found it.
No.
Not listing it.
Hold on.
But it was after Revan.
Let's see.
You know, this is going to be the Jonesy thing all over again. 3 days from now, we're going to come up with the name.
Oh, Lord Vivite.
Yeah.
Vidivit. They basically did a play on the word vitae. Yeah, it's this here, real quick. Where is it? It's this
Vitae?
Dude, this dude right here on the right.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
He in the sense is literally kind
You
of
know what? Oh
known
boy,
as the first Sith Lord.
The German dude. What's his name? Why can't I remember his name? The Tarantino German dude who played who was in
Tim
Django
Roth?
Unchained. Yeah.
No, not Tim Roth. You're talking
Christoph
Waltz.
Yes.
He would play good.
Christoph Waltz.
That would be a good role for him to play. Yeah, the one you're thinking of, yeah, there's Marek right there. That's Malgus. This is the other chick. Yeah, there's so many of them, but yeah, you have so many amazing characters that people have just been wanting the damn stories. What did Entity say here? He goes, I would love to see a Star Wars movie centered around the Star Forge. Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wish they hadn't ruined in the sequels calling their dumb base Star Killer and actually given us fucking Star Killer. I mean, they're like, you want to show fucking fear and power. The motherfucker brought an entire goddamn super destroyer and crashed it into a fucking planet.
Yeah,
so
but they no. But then in canon, they basically give that power to Vader.
Well, no. What happened it wasn't that they gave it to Vader. In the final confrontation between him and Vader, Vader let it loose to him that he had been holding back every time they had fought and dueled, solely because he didn't want Sidious to know how fucking powerful he had become, how much he had upgraded his own suit. In fact, the only power that Starkiller had that Vader envied was the ability to channel all his rage and do that explosive wave, because Vader could only do it from the telekinetic end. He couldn't actually do the energy wave, the burst. He was afraid if he tried to do it, he would basically do like other Sith Lords had done in the past and vaporize
and kill himself. It's the Force. It's a Force bomb.
Make General Grievous menacing again, like he was in the OG cartoon. Yeah, they really did kind of.
Yeah, they nerfed.
Well, because there was only so much they could do. Practical effect, live action. This is why I say, if you're gonna do a Star Wars movie, I'm all for it. I'm all for you getting the big names to do the voices. Animate the shit.
Yeah.
Keep it animated. Keep it Keep it animated. You could do it. You could do it Clone Wars style. You can do it 2D animation. I don't really give a shit how you do it. Just animate it.
Well,
Don't
it's like we were
do the
talking about.
live.
We were talking about it last Sunday, Paul. We were talking about Firefly, and I
Yeah,
told you to
redo
animate
it. Redo it. Bring it back and animate it.
Yeah, because you can
And
get
the best
every
part,
voice
no, this is
actor
what you
back.
do.
And please,
This is what you do.
retcon fucking Wash dying. That did not happen. Serenity movie is
No,
in
no,
its
no. You
own
make-
little soul
so-
universe.
No, this is what you do. You go back to the series. You cover the series in order like it's supposed to go. And then you pick up from where old boy was floating in
But
space.
it won't happen.
No. I'm saying where the black dude was
I know,
floating
but
in
what I'm
space.
saying is it
And then
won't
you
happen.
no, and then what I'm saying is you can do the entire series all the way up to when Wash
But
dies.
again, it won't happen.
I know.
It won't happen
look,
because the studios do not want to work with Whedon. He is blacklisted.
Look, we are wax poeticking about a whole bunch of stuff that is never going to happen.
No,
Not
that
only
stuff
that,
could happen if you have the money and the people pushing it.
It's
But the thing
never
about
going to
Whedon is
happen.
because
And
of
even
what
if it
happened with
did,
him, none of his projects, that's like them talking about the whole Buffy remake. I'm like, how is this going to happen? Because that means to some level, the studio is going to have to send out some cheddar his way, and they don't want to eat crow on that shit.
I'm still down for having Nathan Fillion do the Brown Coat series where he's telling the stories in a bar.
That would be amazing. But speaking of Nathan Fillion, because our boy Entity did bring up about who remembers, and we did bring up Andromeda earlier when it came to like shows with their special effects technique, basically in sci-fi using CGI to its utmost. And yes, Andromeda Andromeda was a phenomenal show all the way around. I really loved my favorite part really was the spin on taking and building an entire faction of people that lived their entire lives by the teaching of Friedrich Nietzsche. I thought that was just brilliant.
My problem with Andromeda was I was young, so I was in that whole he's Hercules, and I don't see him as any other character. Kevin Sorbo.
Yeah.
So what did you just say, Shark, a few minutes ago?
Nathan Fillion telling
Fillion.
the stories from the point of the brown coats. He's just sitting reminiscing in a bar, telling the stories
about the war.
The war.
What I want from Nathan Fillion is what I've been wanting ever since they did the original. I want a continuation of Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog.
Yes.
I want to know
Bring
how
back
evil
Captain
he
Hammer.
turns. I want to know what happens to Hammer. The way they ended that could have gone in so many fun directions.
Oh, yeah.
And it never did. And you can't tell
That
me if
movie-
you got Fillion,
that movie
you got
make-
Fillion and Harris in the same room with a budget, they wouldn't do it. Come on. they had a blast doing that.
That still makes me cry. Like it's okay. Captain Hammer will save us. I break out into fucking tears every fucking time. Oh my god.
But,
You know what? You're the first person to bring up Dr. Horrible sing-along blog. And it's one of those things where I'm like, every time I think about it.
I have it downloaded.
Right. I think about it every time I think about it, I'm like, I want to show this.
Now that I brought it up.
I want to show this to people because I feel like not enough people have seen it, even though I know millions of people have seen it.
It has.
I do want to
it needs a resurface into the younger crowd to keep the motivation of it going, is what it is. And so
I do want to cosplay.
Shark and I were talking about this earlier. I am optimistic about Gilmore 2, just because it's all about. It's going to be about the script and how they do it. And my concern is with Sandler himself, because he has done so much dramatic acting lately. It is very hard to jump back into that comedy mold that he had at the time, where Gilmore was great because he had the same group of writers, the same people that have worked together on so many projects, that momentum machine was in full swing.
It's not even that. Like, what story are you telling?
Well, like I said, that's what it comes down. It's going to come down to the script and Sandler's ability to pull it off.
No, I mean, there's no way to really pull it off. What story can you possibly tell about Happy Gilmore
See that
that compels me to watch it again. The whole
Sorry,
thing was
Amber
he was
Alert.
in every. Oh,
No, I know. I just had to turn off the
I
phone
was
next
saying
to
the
me.
whole. I was saying the whole thing was he was an everyman that fell into the pro golf stuff, and then him having the nemesis in.
And that's what's going to make or break it is what have they written or what have they come up. I do not foresee.
But no, he's
hold on real quick.
He's
I do not foresee Sandler himself going through the time to make this movie through his studio, do all of this, unless he had some epiphanal moment of how they could do it. He loves that. In reality, he, out of all the characters he played, he's admitted in multiple interviews that Gilmore was his favorite to do. So I don't think he would jump. He is not one of those type of people that would jump head first. So, a lot of people, it's just a cash grab. If you've ever met the guy and looked at me, Sandler doesn't give a fuck about cash. The way he lives shows that he doesn't give a fuck about his money. He's more about doing something he's going to have fun doing.
I know that.
Most of the cast is dead.
Diamonds was the best thing he's done.
So much of the cast is dead. Carl Weathers is gone.
That could be part of it. I mean, think about it from an aspect of if he writes it the same way in the style of doing the grown-up movies. A retrospective of someone kind of lost, trying to refine themselves, being older.
But that's just it. I don't want to see that Happy Gilmore.
If it's done right, it would be good. That's the problem, though. You're at the fear point of that I am of, is it going to make me not care or ever want to watch the first one again?
No, okay. So it's this way. I like watching the first one because you basically watch Happy grow into being a champion. It's like watching Rocky 2, not Rocky 1, but Rocky 2, where you watch him come up and you watch him basically come to be a champion. He made it to the top of the mountain. He peaked. That's it. It's only downhill from him, and I don't want to watch the downhill. I don't want to watch the downhill and then the ultimate plateauing, because it's not a comeback story. It's a plateau where you stop the fall, but you come to be like, well, I'm happy with my life. Or something like, okay, he got the girl, so you have to take the girl away from him. He was the champion, so you have to take the championship away from him, or you have to bring back an evil. Some evil like up and comer. Well, nobody wants to see the evil up and comer win.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Like I said, I'm optimistic about it, but who knows? Maybe it could blow our minds and be great. Who knows? You never know.
Yeah, unpopular opinion is
I think
Uncut Gems was probably the best Adam Sandler movie that's been done since Happy Gilmore.
I don't know, man. You Don't Mess with the Zohan was my shit.
I don't know. Yeah. There's two. I cannot comment on that because there's two of his that people raved about that I haven't watched yet. So,
which ones? Uncut Gems and what else?
No, I've watched Uncut Gems. It's the other one. It's the one about the basketball and the one he did before that.
Oh, okay. I know which one you're talking about. You're talking about the spy movie he did.
No. This was the. You got to remember, he's done a lot of indie
projects. The Do-Over.
Too. Yeah.
Okay.
So Entity. Yeah, you're right. That show. Yeah, he brought up Happy Tree Friends. That would definitely be canceled in our fucking heartbeat.
Yeah.
So it looks like from the cast I'm seeing, a lot of this cast is Grandma's Boy.
Well, yeah, because they're
Alan
all
Covert, Nick Swardon.
You got to remember, they're all in all of his movies, even if they're a one-bit character in the background. That basically his entire production crew is everybody in those films. Hell,
that's what I'm saying.
You remember the freaking coaching assistant in Waterboy?
Yeah.
The Cajun guy?
Yeah.
That's his lead writer. He writes 90% of all the stuff. Yeah, no, he's the writer. Yeah, he has co-credits on almost everything. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, his original editor and cinematographer is the guy that, in Grown Ups, is the cop opposite of Shaq. Yeah, he was originally his editor and cinematographer.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's one thing I do love about the guy. Is he brought up all his friends with him and continues to.
Oh, but that's what I loved about Grown Ups. It was basically him doing passion projects with his friends.
Well, that's what Shark and I were talking about, is that I would have loved to have seen another story with that crew, but I know why he won't do it. He won't do it because you've made two things great that are a rarity. Third is gambling. 2, would you really want to see him getting super fucking old? And then 3, he is not a person known to ever recast people. And with the passing of the kid that played his son, he wouldn't do it.
Mr. Deeds. I'd like to see him redo Mr. Deeds. Like, not redo, but do a sequel to that.
Continuation, yeah, to Deeds?
Yeah. Yeah, that you can do.
Entity brought
where
up
he
Nikki.
basically you can't get away with the comedy of it.
Yeah. Dude, you couldn't get away with the comedy. 2 of his movies you couldn't do. 3 of them. You couldn't do anything with Billy Madison again because of the comedy. You couldn't do anything with Nikki, and you sure as hell couldn't do
Ridiculous 6.
Ridiculous 6, maybe. No, you couldn't do what was the one where he had the kid with him? Where he was being the dad, but he's not the dad.
Big Daddy.
Yeah, Big Daddy. You couldn't do that either. Especially people would friggin' raise hell right now. Rob Schneider, oh, he's doing Asian washing, not realizing that he is fucking Asian. Yeah, people have. I told somebody that one time. They made a comment. I was like, you realize Rob Schneider is Asian and Jewish. It's like his parents were mixed. He's from a mixed race, mom and dad. They're just like, no, he's not. I was like, yeah, look it up, dumbass.
Yes, he is. That's why he looks like that.
I love this one. The Entity said, he's like, another movie that you couldn't get made today, Human Centipede. But that also raises the question: why would you want to remake Human Centipede?
Yeah, why would you remake that?
leave it alone. Tropes right in there. Well, not only leave it alone, those are one of those movies that never needed to be made. But now that it's been made, it just needs to
not only was it made. Not only was it made, there were sequels. Like, leave it alone.
Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? Movies of that nature fall right there in like things like a Serbian film.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, that's
also,
the top of my list of movies you will watch once and never ever watch again. Walrus is blinking. You haven't seen that, have you? Don't. If you have not watched Serbian film, don't. That's what I. Yeah. It's not one of those. Don't to get you to go watch it. No, don't.
Don't watch it.
I am not easily disturbed, and there are things in that film that even I was just like, I need to go take a shower after watching this. It's like, I feel dirty. It is bad.
I watched that. I watched Come and See, like, because I went through that list of movies you only watch once because they're disturbing. I'm like, yeah, whatever, and I watched them. I watched that, Come and See, and High Tension, and I was just like, I can't ever.
So, Entity, if you grew up watching horror movies like The Human Centipede, I recommend, if you have never watched it, go research David Cronenberg and watch every one of his movies. That is where movies like that got started. Cronenberg was the father of body horror.
The Thing. Watch the original The Thing.
Yeah, the original Thing with Kurt Russell. God damn. Dude, those physical effects, God. That was Rick Baker at his best. That man, I had a dream when I was younger to go work at his creature studio, and I should have jumped on it when I was younger and never did. I loved physical movie effects. That's one reason why I loved the most recent Alien film, because there was so much physical effects mixed in with the digital. Have you seen that one yet? The newer one?
Romulus? Yeah. I am a huge Aliens fan. I'm an Aliens fan. I'm a Predator fan. And there's a lot of shit that they've been doing in both universes have been fucking it up.
Romulus, when the ship starts crashing in and the belt of debris starts chewing it away like
exactly.
Sand. My God, I have seen astrophysicists watch that and just be even like, holy shit, that it would do that. It's like, they're like, I cannot argue the science on this. Dude, could you imagine the poor little digital effects guy that when the director was like, we want to do this, he's like, okay, and I want every debris and molecule to break away. Then he's just kind of like, honey, yeah, you aren't going to see me for about 4 months.
So you're telling me it's worth a watch.
I need a quick rub tug before I go to work tomorrow.
If you haven't watched Romulus, go watch it.
Yeah. Yes, if you have not and I think if you have Disney Plus or Hulu, you can see it for free. It is on there.
I got those.
Yeah, Romulus is worth watching. It
I'm
brought
waiting
back
on-
true to form the horror and the on edgeness that Alien and Aliens mastered. It really did.
As a matter of fact,
now I'm curious to see how Alien
I would
Earth
actually-
is going to be.
I would watch Alien Romulus, and then Aliens. That's
Yes,
exactly how I would
that's
do
the
it, because
order.
that's the actual evolution. Yeah, that's the order, and that's
And
the
you do
actual.
not need to
And
see-
those,
Hold on.
I would
you-
leave
hold on.
3 out and 4.
No, that's what I was about to say. You do not need to watch any of the others that have sequentially come out, or the Predator films, or any of that Alien Predator films at all, because literally the new show coming out, Aliens Earth, is right after Aliens in the timeline.
Okay.
So it retcons
Good, so-
all the other shit.
Thank God, because
Yeah.
trash.
This is okay.
Trash.
I have not.
And then wait,
hold on. Entity just brought up one that maybe you guys have seen. I'm gonna add it to my list. A Korean movie called The Host.
yes, Host and what is it? Train to Busan.
Oh, dude, Train to Busan is classic. That thing.
Yeah,
is,
but Host is along those lines. Host is I didn't know you hadn't seen it. It's a really good fucking movie.
Okay, I'll check it. So Entity, the one you're talking about, the AVP, the Alien versus Predator film that you're talking about, where they go to Antarctica, that was the very first one.
Yeah.
And it was decent. It was decent. I mean, neither one of them were bad, but it's one of those that
What
if you
they
want
should
the
have
true
did.
Aliens, follow the timeline 8-Ball just mentioned, and then wait for Aliens Earth to come out.
What they really should have done if they were going to do the Aliens versus Predator thing, they should have just went with the original Alien versus Predator
The comic book storyline.
comics.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you could have left it. You could have left it in the future. You could have left it with Weyland Yutani. You could have left it with all of the. Well, it wasn't even Weyland Yutani. It was a subsidiary company that was also trying to beat them out and stuff like
the
that. But
stupidest part from a marketing standpoint is if they had looked at that and thought, how could we make this longevity and give this franchise and make it a franchise? You could have brought Schwarzenegger in, because in the comic, old Duke shows up to kick ass.
the problem was getting Schwarzenegger.
If they had done it
That's
prior,
one of the-
if they had done it around
No,
the
no,
time,
no,
hold
listen,
on.
listen.
If they had done it around the timeline that they did the AVP movies, he was just getting out of his governor's seat and was going to go back. He was going back into film. Remember?
He was, but he wasn't going to go back to do that film. It's the same reason they had a problem with getting him for Predator 2, because Danny Glover was not who they originally wanted. They wanted him to be in Predator 2 because they wanted to follow the comic book, which was Harrigan's brother. Well, I'm sorry, not Harrigan, which was Harrigan, but he was Dutch's brother.
Yeah.
You can for the audience, you can go on to YouTube and they have the graphic comics where it reads through and it shows you all the panels, but it's a read through and in the panel, so it looks almost animated, of Alien versus Predator, and it shows you the original, what it's supposed to be. Also, I'd recommend watching the Alien 3 digital comic, because that one goes through. What they did was they took the original script for Alien 3 and then they made a comic out of it, and then they did it. And watching that will make you go, why didn't I get this? Why did I get some bullshit with Charles S. Dutton on fucking Furina? I can't even remember what the planetary denomination was, but I just know it was on Furina. Like, why did I get this? Why did I get this bullshit instead of this?
Yeah. Hold on real quick. Yeah, hold on real quick. Yeah, no, I remember the AVP game that was on the 360. It was actually pretty decent. Some of the Alien games were actually pretty damn good.
There was one they brought out. It was the first-person shooter one, and that's the one that, because they actually have that one on YouTube where you can watch the playthrough, and they put it together. They put it together all three. I think it's like 3 hours long, but it's the full playthrough with each one, and the stories could run congruent. And it's a nice movie, but it's a nice movie on its own. It's just because it's the video game. It's the video game graphics. It's kind of.
Yeah, Entity commented again. He's saying that he would love to have an Alien movie, but from the perspective of the Xenomorph. That I think it'd be interesting, but it'd be very hard to pull off. I think what would be better on that perspective is do an Aliens game with one side where you can play as the Colonial Marines and another side as the Xenomorph, kind of like Left 4 Dead.
They did that with Colonial Marines, and
but they
didn't do well.
No, it could. Well, that's because the studio that didn't really do it that great. The gameplay functionality. I'm saying if you put it in the hands of a studio that knew how to do something like that, you could have turned out a great game.
Fair.
That's the problem with, again, when we talk about movies that want to transition to a video game, they hire some of these fringe, no-name fucking studios thinking that they're going to turn out something. It's like, sometimes you do have to lunch the bullet and go to the bigger developers.
Well, they're trying to save money.
Yeah, but look what happens. You end up spending millions on something that nobody plays, and then you lose more. So, but yeah, well, I definitely think we've done good tonight, guys. We hit 3:30 this time. So nice. I want to thank everybody for joining in and watching. Again, we do this every other Saturday, so I'm actually going to start playing ahead and doing like I did this time with YouTube, to where it shoots out an upcoming the day ahead, so people kind of can put it on their calendars if you're subscribed. Thank you again for Unknown Entity for hanging in there and commenting. We enjoyed it and definitely bringing up a lot of good things to talk about and recap on it. All the
things
and just for you, just for Unknown, I'll have my big wizard hat next episode.
Hear that? He's bringing out the wizard hat for you.
I like the cut of that man's jib.
Yeah. Definitely join us again, man, and thank you again for hanging in there. For all y'all watching or watching after, please like, comment, subscribe. I will try to respond to every comment. And on top of it, pay attention to the wealth of knowledge we put in the descriptions here about these laws, especially if you live in Texas, or like Entity brought out, if you're in Oklahoma and somehow you're watching us, it's hitting you guys. Maybe you can beat it to the punchline like we didn't do. But definitely, if hear your voices heard and call these people, email them, visit them. The only way to kind of get something like this from steamrolling any further is to get ahead of it. And right now we're sadly behind it, but we could still jump ahead and make changes if you try. There's a lot of stuff to talk about that we're going to hit up, probably a lot of stuff in the next podcast, because first week of April, there are so many shows coming back, so much anime hitting, which hopefully we'll still get to see in Texas here. But again, thank you for joining us here at the Dark Roast Nerdiness podcast. I've been your host, Wolf. Accompanied with me, my co-host, Shark, and our guest hosts, 8-Ball and Walrus. Thank you for joining in. Hope you had a blast. We had a blast talking to you guys. And we will catch you in 2 weeks at the next one again at 7:30. Y'all be safe out there. Take care of yourselves. And we'll see you next time.